Welcoming back to the panel the rest of the crew. No longer Quack here, but can be joined by Donut herself. Welcome, Donut. You casted that last game. I'm sure it was
Yeah,
amazing for you. What are your feelings on it?
yeah. I when I cast it, I really integrated that feeling when I was actually playing it. So those clutch situations, I could really feel my heart beating so fast because I was really immersed in that experience. That's why a lot of the plays were, I mean, it was a 1v5, it was an ace, but it was denied that win. So that was a pretty exciting experience casting that supposedly three maps, but AE and their prowess, they just made it a 2-0.
Yeah, well, now let's go ahead and talk about what we have upcoming. Where exactly are we in the tournament? You just saw the first team go to the grand final, so let's take a look at where we are. The brackets, we'll be showing them for you guys just to get a bit of a glimpse at the long journey that we have had here at the FSL Elite. It's been a hot minute, so let's take a look at the brackets right now as we're coming up for you guys, coming up with him for you guys on our screens right now. It's been quite a journey, the long winding road, and we are now finally here towards the very end. Jaeger, your thoughts on this bracket? It's been quite a ride.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen these teams play for the longest time now, right? And you have certain expectations, and I think they've succeeded every expectation. We expect to see AE Celeste in those grand finals, but it's really about these other teams, right? The ones that can challenge the top. Nigma Galaxy, you've got Renatus White, and you've got Mad Army. Those are the three teams looking to try and find themselves in those grand finals going up against AE Celeste. And we do have Renatus White going up against Nigma in just a short moment. And I think that's going to be a very exciting fight.
Absolutely. I'm already just drawing the pictures up in my head. I mean, Alter Ego Celeste, they're on the brink of it's not even a grand slam. Like, you know how in traditional sports, like a grand slam is like whatever, winning like 3 titles or what and stuff like that. But they've won 6, and they're very close to making it 7 at the very biggest one. So an unprecedented run, and I think they've already made a record here. I don't think it'll be broken for a very, very long time. What does it mean, Donut, for Alter Ego Celeste to take a victory in this one?
Well, it was quite shaky when they did go against Renatus White in the map of Split. It was such a close game, even closer than what we saw earlier against Mad Army. So right now, when we interviewed Dorathio last week, she mentioned that they will come out of it strong. They have learned their lessons, and well, that was an application of what happened earlier. So it really means so much to them to get this win.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's find out who's playing next in the next game. We've talked about the past. Let's go ahead and zone in on the present. Now, Nigma Galaxy, they are on fire, to say the least, especially after their latest victory. Now you can see their roster, their squad. They managed to take down Arise in a very, very convincing fashion, especially on the split. Jaeger, you think they'll be a little bit tired coming into this one, or is it going to be more of the same coming into this last series of the day?
Nah, the longer the day goes on, the stronger they seem to get, and we've seen how strong their mental resets can be. So, Renatus White, I don't think they're going to have an easy time of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Renatus White, however, on the other side, Donut. What are your thoughts? The chances they're looking really strong. They're looking like a very solid and a growing squad. But do you think it might be enough to go up against a squad like Nigma Galaxy?
Yeah, they've gone big before, and if they were able to get it close against AE, it's really a possibility for them to come out on top. But and especially with Gohaibi in the picture, it's always going to be her show. But for the team of NGX, it's everybody's show. Everybody's supporting each other. So for NGX, what their advantage is that team play, the leadership that they have currently in the team. While for Renatus White, it's going to be quite a moody type of play. If Kohaibi isn't really hitting her shots, if it's gonna not gonna be a strategy, a Kohaibi go kill or that type of strategy, then it's not gonna be working well for RTS.
Absolutely, you make a great point. I definitely think that Kohai Go Kill might not work on a team which is as structured as Galaxy Racer. But sorry, excuse me, Nigma Galaxy now. And let's take a look at the maps. However, we have map select coming up for you guys to see exactly where we're going to be, battling it out here today. Starting it out on Haven, followed up by Icebox and by Split. So the big maps to start things off, and these are going to be very interesting here. Renatus White starting on Haven. That's very interesting to me, Jace. Like Jason Jaeger.
I'll take it.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, they had a great victory earlier on, right? Against VLT. They got 13-6. They were looking really confident on Haven. And then on Icebox, we got that from Nigma earlier today as well. They won 13-6 against TC Arise. So it's the battle of the 13-6s. But it is that question mark of split, isn't it? Both these teams had split as the third maps for both their games, and neither of them got to play on it because they got 2-0s. So this time around, I think we might see split properly.
You think, Donut? I mean, we have been like denied of game number 3, except for that one that we had. I mean, it was Galaxy Racer who took that split, but are you thinking a 2-0 here? I'm gonna get your predictions already, since we're already going into it real quick. Since we have to get into the game, your predictions, and then we'll go to Jace.
Well, for me, split is a little bit shaky for NGX against Alter Ego Celeste, and Renatus White did get a win, so I feel like it's gonna be a 2-1 in favor of NGX.
All right.
I tend to agree. Like I think they're both going to win their own map picks, but I think it is going to be Nigma Galaxy that win out in the very end, just because I like team play and I like creative minds over individual skill.
Oh, well, tough. Who am I going to say here? You know what? I want to go for Renatus White. I do think Nigma Galaxy might be a little bit tired. So, sorry, friends on Nigma Galaxy and Tricks, but I think Renatus White, they're looking very good here. I think they're coming out with this in a 2-1 victory. We saw the agents. We didn't really have time to touch on them very much. We are trying to get through this as quickly as possible to give you all the action. We are going to be giving it to our casters, who will break down the agents and everything a little bit better than we can for now. So for the meantime, I'm going to sign off. Illustrato, Jaeger, and Donut. We'll be back in a second, but first, the casters will take care of this match for you guys.
Hey, we are the casters. We don't really have names. I'm not Quack. You're not there. We're casters. I'm kidding. But for real, though, I'm a little bit sad. I'm a little bit disappointed because we didn't win our bet, and that means that I guess Jace doesn't have to cosplay Chamber yet. Not unless you lovely folks at home go and pressure him. Tweet at Sir Jaeger. I say again, tweet Sir SERJAEGER to get him to cosplay Chamber. But yeah, we're going into the game pretty soon. Hey Zaya, your hair looks really lovely today.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. But as our panelists have said, it's quite, slightly divided, as the host basically has a different opinion of his predictions. But what do you think about this, Crap?
I want to reserve my predictions, but you know what? It does seem like Nigma Galaxy seems a little bit more structured, so they might have that higher statistical chance of winning, just because if they can take down someone like Kohibi, the rest of the squad might not be able to perform as well. And again, on a map like Haven, where supposedly both sides have really good win percentages on, if RTS actually doesn't perform here, I think they're going to struggle on Icebox. So let's see what they can pull off now that they are starting on the attacking side. Envious to initiate with an opening pick with her Ghost is already pretty good. Now with an even better angle, she's going to pepper another player. And of course, Kohibi just playing up front, close and personal. She's looking for even more. What they don't expect, though, is Alka coming in from the back of Garage. She has the heals to top herself off as well, so overhealed up. Now Aya taking C long. This could be very devastating if they find even more frags. Kohibi and Envious last ones alive.
Indeed, but this is going to be very interesting, as she was able to get Aluka down, but the pain shell did not push through, but still, you got the job done with that 3k to start it off. And yeah, as you said, predictions, I might reserve it as well, because both of these teams are formidable. So let's start it off here. Envious opening up that C side, coming in with that very first blood, followed by Aluka here onto the sides of Garage, trying to at least take everything what they can. Here's where things get a little iffy, as Kohibi was able to shoot Aluka off guard here, and Pain Shells kind of did not push through, but still got that Ghost up and running. So right now, you don't really need to worry about Jace not cosplaying Chamber, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get him to do that. But right now, let's go back into this game right here. That's a Marshall, kind of like a warning shot there, or was able to spot out the head of K-IT over in towards that, and they are forced to go back. So it means they are respecting the presence that is available in a site. So look at how quick the transition is that they have here on towards from A all straight to C. But this is the good thing about NGX. Again, they've mentioned that they're structured, so right now they don't really neglect that capabilities. But Envious still catch her off guard with Chloe being taken down, only to be traded out by Ivory, where we did see that Envious was distracted in towards that turret. So basically, they got like 6 hands to do the diversion. Ivy, however, goes in towards with the 2K, make it a 3 per se. I don't know, but K4 is gonna go for the plan on C long, so they do have more coverage.
My God, Zaya spitting them bars again. I love this, but you know what? It's even better. It's gonna be Kohibi getting all the remainder of the frags. Aya's the last one alive. She knows she's in a world of hurt, so she just goes in and peek anyway. Kohibi watching the angle with a... I don't know how she does that. You know that she has a really, really high sensitivity, somehow still actually able to play off with these micro flicks. It's incredible.
Basically, it's just more about comfort, right? And in this typical scenario, it could have been better play if Aya and Trix were to double peek them, to say the least, just so that they can go for that trades. But nonetheless, we do have better weaponry here for the side of Nigma Galaxy, and they are very known for that slowly but surely kind of pace. So we're kind of like expecting it as well, that Nigma Galaxy may be a bit of a slow position, or maybe a slow performance into the first few rounds of the game, but they do have that mental reset, as Jaeger have said earlier, that is really, really formidable, and it's a force to be reckoned with time and time again. So right now we are seeing that their position-wise, they're quite dispersed in the area and wanting to secure or play for peaks, which is the play for RTS, simply because you'd want the numbers advantage. And here for Mochi, just really trying to crawl up in towards C. She has the spike though, so this could be an opportunity for Trix to take her down or to get some intel. That's going to be a recon ball to be pre-aimed, maybe towards C long. Let's see if there are info. Is detecting Mochi down. So 40 seconds on the clock. They need to decide to commit into to commit into a certain area. If not, time won't be of the essence for the side of our attackers.
Exactly, right? That was such a well-timed recon bolt by Trix, because now that they've got the information, they can perfectly deduce that basically the push is either going to be on C or B, and that is why they're all hovering around this one spot right now. The push is going to come in, but Nigma Galaxy are already ready, but what they're not prepared for is going to be the showstopper or the aggression that's coming in right now. Close quarters battle, and it's going to be favoring RTS because of their Spectres! Kohibi as well! Just knowing where she could be with the instant flick in towards her head, she gets the triple kill to finish off the round. Bonus round is that.
Indeed, this is just really good. You see that amount of mobility that both Kohibi and Envious are giving towards their teammates. Take note, that is already less than 40 seconds on the clock. They still managed to catch NGX off guard, and that's one of the best case scenario where in the individual plays or in the individual performances come and pop off. It's basically demonstrated by RTS during that previous round. They've already got 3 consecutive wins. So NGX here, they may need to really start popping off here if they don't want that gap to happen, especially when the other when we switch sides.
They gotta be really, really careful about this, but the way that they're playing right now doesn't seem to inspire that confidence at all. It's gonna be RTS pushing up so aggressively. Of course, it's being done by Envious as well as Kohibi, both equally capable of finding those entry frags that are so valuable for RTS with the fact that they're on the attacking side. NGX right now with a retake, given their sheriffs, it's not all doom and gloom, but they have to be very, very careful about how they maneuver around these corners. Instantly peeking out like that, Trix gets punished, and Alka playing off of her information. She's able to find one headshot to start things off. Whether she gets even more, though, is a whole other thing. The spike is still ticking, and she's trying to get a little bit more curious. Unfortunately, this time whiffing her shots allows for K4 to just, you know, pepper her full of bullets. It's an easy spray. So 4-0 to start things off. My God.
Not necessarily. You don't really need to like get all the kills so long as you have that team synergy. It is gonna pop off soon. And right now, Envious and Koibi are basically, taking every kill with every angle. And I really would like to highlight how both Koibi and Envious just really, because this is the advantage point of having the Raze and the Jet. Both of them are mobile. Okay,
Yeah.
Raze, you guys already know with the satchels, Jet with the dashes. So you can really, it can really be a big factor into
Super
trying
fast.
to get a lot of area in towards a certain map. So look at this though. I like it how NGX does not really go for that aggressive push because they know that they are still, with that cover. But look at this though. NPS was able to jiggle peek through and gets a beautiful double kill in towards a long. But the spike, however, is already on its way to a different area. So the presence here that RTS is making, they're creating a big diversion play.
Yeah, really, really big. You might have thought the hit was going towards A. Even though they got the favorable duels, they somehow rotated and they already have players positioned up towards C, and that is where the hit will be coming in. Astra Suck comes through, but it's not going to do all that much. Ivory now trying to push up front, gets caught in the open. Envious with another triple this time around, and it's still a 5-0 lead. They are looking to just come in with this big momentum, really unstoppable. You cannot let RTS gain free reign around spots on the map like A-Long. It just...
Really gotta commend that counter-strafing capabilities of both NPS and Koibi right now. But of course, you know what? They're not just basically like the two-man team here for the side of RTS. You also gotta commend the utilities that are coming in from Kifredite, Mochi, and of course Legit Queen as well. Because without them as well, but it's team synergy here. And this time, even though the panelists did say that okay, it's a Koibi kill or Envious kill, but Aluka here is gonna go and kill for the 2K before Koibi actually goes for that shutdown. Ivory will be having a guardian kill of her own, but is it enough though? She is at 1 health with a little bit of peek and a really nice tap. Ivory gets another of her own. But going back into my point earlier, right? It's not just your two-man team. They're basically not Pokemons where you can choose, right? But right now, here in this game, they are popping off with the help of these utilities at hand. It's really evident. But here, in this 6th round specifically, Mochi is the only member remaining that is being relied upon. Or is this going to be the streak that, Nigma Galaxy can break and start the momentum from here?
It seemed like they were expecting her to be around mid, but she's somehow able to slip past all those Astra Nebulas that you don't expect her here. She's going to be able to collect the first one. 30 seconds left, though, and she still needs to get the spike somehow. It's been dropped in towards mid-window, finally goes to retrieve it, but in all that time, NGX has collected on this intel, and they can pretty much, without a doubt, bet on the fact that the spike will go down on B. Now they hear it as well. They're going to go in for the close quarters duel, and it's one that Chloe will win against her ex-teammates, with her Spectre, of course.
Yes, indeed, definitely. And that is going to be the streak-breaking round for the side of Nigma Galaxy. Now they just have to grind it all up so that they can have an even scoreline. But let's look at the replay. Shall we? Alaka taking a 1, make it another before being shut down by Koibi. And Ivory here, very beautiful print. Do you see that? Like, that timing is very on point for her. And Mochi here really being sneaky to at least get tricks before, getting defeated by Chloe in the process. So here, and for basically the potential momentum of Nigma Galaxy, what do you think that they need to do so that they can really get a hold of the sites better?
I think they have to play a little bit more safe, a little bit more careful. I mean, that time it worked out because they were able to get the info of footsteps, and then Alka went with a peek. Getting the double kills really, really helped them out. This time, though, they've gotten information that it's going to be an A hit, and that is why the rotations can start to come across the map. If they can actually stop the plant from coming in, it buys a lot of time, and then conversely, if the players on the other side of the map can also stall the plant, they'll be able to win out against RTS in terms of tactics. That's what they should be going for. But let's see, because you never quite know when you're playing against a team like RTS. They might just burst into the site right now. And if that does happen, if Aya doesn't collect on these frags, it would be so bad. But she's actually able to find at least a couple. So not the worst thing in the world. Has been done. Taking a look at the HUD, they're down to about 70 HP. Legit Queen down to 40. They can still retake this.
Definitely. Numbers advantage for the side of RTS, but retake potentials can be quite possible. I just do recommend the double peek, which is what they're doing right now. And you know what? Chloe's gonna be the meat shield here. Go for it, baby. As you see, Aluka goes for the cleanup. Beautifully done. And that is the best case scenario that, you know, we could have seen into the very first round, if you remember, right? So I think they kind of realize that for the side of NGX, and you know it's starting to be a slow pace for them, but they're getting it.
They are. It's kind of like you said it, the double peak. They kind of timed it together, like 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to drop off of heaven, and then you push out of A-Link, and they were able to isolate the duels one by one, taking down the player by hell, and then a short, and you know, consecutively, it all happens one by one. That's how they're able to win. If they can do the same thing again and again, it's definitely going to be possible for NGX to come back, but again, they have to be careful, because if they lose players really early on, that really weakens the defense, and then it kind of allows for players like Kohani and Envious to go ham. Thankfully, this time it's going to be Trix who puts a stop to that for the time being, shuts Envious down, and now it's going to be up to Aluka. She's in the cubby, or C.
Indeed, this could help in catching the other members off guard, at least for the side of NGX. But sometimes these corners can be quite predictable. So look at this. Was able to look at the corner, but still not enough. And Chloe to help her to get a better position. Really nicely done. So you can clearly see how much they have that certain amount of trust for each other as well. Because you have to consider that as a factor. But Chloe, though, off cam is still getting those moments. And speaking of moments, this is going to be a secret last flawless fight from NGX as they slowly catch up to the score.
Slowly but surely. Y'all said it at the start, and that is how NGX plays. Maybe not the best opening rounds, but now that they've started to get the hang of things, started to get the feel of how RTS plays, they're able to chain wins back to back. It's 5-3 for now, so it's still kind of early. Economy not the worst for RTS. In fact, they're calling a timeout, maybe trying to recalibrate their strategies. They still stand a chance at winning out in this first half. The only thing is, though, how are they going to do it? They can afford to purchase up on an operator right now. Not sure if they're going to do it, though.
But this is actually a great timing for the side of Renatus White in calling this timeout, because you see how NGX is slowly climbing up the score line with, you know, that 3 consecutive wins. So they want to deny that as much as possible. And you know, what better way to deny things by just taking it easy and, you know, take a moment to breathe, try to compose yourself. I mean, in terms of what the panelists say in terms of structure and you know, a bit more organized, NGX does have the upper hand, but you can't really neglect those individual plays that has been going on for RDS, because if it pops off, it creates wonders. And at least for the first 5 rounds, it worked well for RTS. So if they are able to reset and redo again what they did, it could be a favorable manner. But right now, that is going to be a gravity pull, but nice dash to reposition here for the side of Aya. Really quick on her feet and spray towards A just to deny that push. But hey, look here, we're going to see a drone coming in just to get a quick look of the map. Showstopper is gonna be denied beautifully by Aya before Keeper Lightning Life. He let it go. Cannot hold it back anymore. And the Jinx Queen also takes one for the can. That's gonna be a beautiful ult of the Astra to at least divide and, you know, conquer this map. But let's see, there's the lockdown from Chloe, but I think it is predicted, but
Okay.
you know, not going to get that 100 sphere anymore, but Mochi will be taking Chloe down. Aluka knows that she is low on health. And he's on to the sides though, because of that spray, Aluka was able to see it. Is it gonna be bringing things to life? Recon ball's gonna detect her.
I don't know.
Is it gonna? Oh,
What?
Oh no! What?
No time though.
No time though, but
Wait.
still.
She might just be able to stick.
No,
Yeah.
no, she doesn't have that. She doesn't have that. But still, what was that flick hit from Aluka? Still getting her 3K, so at least there's compensation in that. But Quack, what was that?
Just somehow through that little tiny edge or corner of the Radianite crates, it actually connected and turned into a wallbang for Aluka. Really, really fantastic stuff, but of course, if not for Kphrodite's Hunter Sphere, I think the outcome of that round could have been very different because the Hunter Sphere actually took out that lockdown that Chloe deployed. So, you know, try as they might, you know, they just, sometimes you gotta let it go. And you gotta wake them up inside. Oh my god, Hunter's Fury, just to start things off, actually able to find a frag, a random one at that, seemingly.
Unfortunately, there's no bringing me to life because the Sage is not going to be seen in this game. But going back into the minimap here, we see that they're, again, taking that slow push for the side of Renatus White because that's the strategy that has been working for them. So if they are able to isolate the fights and force out Nigma Galaxy to really get out of that passive approach, maybe that is the snowball capabilities by then. On the other side of the coin, though, if NGX, they this is defenders, right? So they do have the luxury, at least in terms of time, because the aggression is definitely going to come from Renatus, right? So if they are able to pick up 1, 2, or better yet members, that's going to be great. So beautiful Cloud as well with that dash to reposition herself. But the question is, I think it could be a predictable corner here because that's that. They know that she doesn't have time to actually run all the way to A long, knowing the numbers of Renatus in towards that side.
Absolutely. She was basically pinned down to that position, and that allows for RTS to push up front and get the spike down. Trix, without her shock darts, cannot stall or delay those plants any longer, so it's just going to be the full-on retake firefight right now. They're trying to go in fast and furious, and of course they will be winning out in the duels. Kind of just getting a read, a rough read or idea of where RTS might be positioned. I mean, they did have the Recon Vault to play off of, so this time around, even though RTS managed to make this their home for a while, NGX just come up on the door, knock a little bit, and do you want to build a snowman? Yes, we do. We want to snowball this win.
Okay, bye, they say, because they're not gonna let that snowball happen at any time soon. So for Nigma Galaxy here, they're slowly crawling it up, which is okay. Because you know what they say, in life everything is a slow pace, and that's what they're doing here. But for the side of Renatus White, they still have that 2-point advantage, right? So if they are able to maintain this, it can still work for them. So right now, I am pretty excited how things are gonna go, because we're starting to see a bit of a toned down moment for Renatus White. If you notice that they haven't been pushing really aggressively in towards sites, they're waiting for the time, they're playing for the peaks, but up until when is this gonna work? Because as Aya peeks towards this garage, takes down Envious, who we've been pointing out earlier, has been giving that entry for the team. Now it's about Aya checking the corner here, but still Go Hybe takes it down with a frenzy. How mad is that?
Just a bit of a default, you know? Changing up the pace could definitely work out, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, sometimes in life it's like a wheel, right? It kind of like glides down fast or glides down slow, but either way, you just have to move.
You have to go.
And, yeah, you have to go. And them taking these respective trades, removing Jet out of this, both of their Jets out of the scoreboard, can be a crucial thing for both sides of the team. Look at how they're positioned in the minimap, however. 2 on C, and our attackers are crawling towards A. I think Trix had this in mind. So look at how fast he just rotated from heaven real quick here.
Yeah, she knows they're going in for the 8 hit, and Spike will get planted for now, but it's just a matter of time. Let's see if NGX can actually make this work. Alcott getting a little bit too prematurely aggressive. She's going to be the first to fall. Although Kohabi's down to 20 HP, she can still do so much damage, and that is exactly what she's looking for. Paint shells to give her a brief little moment, maybe even back off. It certainly festers in NGX's mind, but Ivory's just going to hold steadfast and push up front. She takes that first player down, but has 3 more to work against, and they don't have the best weaponry, so it should be in NGX's favor, but with the angles that they hold, the way of the crossfire, RTS picks up on the Yahoo Thrifty.
Yahoo indeed, as they're slowly trying to really dominate this first half, but that is a very nice opening for Aya here. Unfortunately though, Kohabi was really up on her feet, and as you mentioned, prematurely aggressive for Aluka here with no one to trade for her. Kohabi just isolate the fights, using the terrains to hide herself up before being taken down by Ivory. So Trix and Legit Queen had their own trades, but here, this is what made Aphrodite shine the most, is basically that thrifty round wherein she just took advantage of you know, that numbers that they had, the double peak or the trade capabilities that they had earlier. So they are gonna go for C this time around, using the ult coming in from Mochi, if I'm not mistaken, to guard down C site. So this is slightly impenetrable in terms of bullets, but skill sets are still at play. Look at other positions, they're just facing each other out right now. Let's see if the other members can go for it. But you know what? This is a good call to just let it happen. You know, just go for C long and just potentially spray in towards the side. Legit, we get one Ivory for the trade. They're just spraying in towards the smoke. They cannot happen just yet, but Kohabi came for that to get a spray kill on their own. Envious on from the garage. Ivory to trade it out with her only being the remaining member here. Have the fuse? Is it gonna go? Let it go! It's going to really make it through as a 7-5 scoreline. Very viable. A very beautiful Nano Leaf clutch moment from NGA.
Very, very lovely. You know, love is an open door. C-Long might seem like an open door, but once that cosmic divide goes up, NGX just seemed like they didn't really want to go into the unknown. You're not sure of what's on the other side, you know what I'm saying? I mean, bonus points, you catch a reference, but it's really that thing. That's why they really were so afraid to push past it. But coming towards the end, even though RTS actually had the perfect plan, the perfect angles, they were kind of afraid to push up front once Ivory was starting to stick the defuse. They weren't really sure if she was on it. So playing a little bit too defensively towards the end, they lost 1 round. But still, they're in the lead. 7-5 at the second half. It's not too bad. Now they're playing defense. They're going for an aggressive 3-round stack on towards A. They see a lot of people, but no pushes, no hard commitments just yet.
You could say that Ivory did not show herself the moment her ult was there, right? And of course, you did say love is an open door, but the wall says no. And right, just going back into the game here, you did say there's no hard pushes that are coming in. And because of that, this though, C-Long, very open. The cage has been triggered. The drone is going to take those intel. This is going to detect Mochi as well. Very nice pull to deny it, but no one's going to be caught in it so far. But the shock dart, though, will be taking some amount of health on towards Aya. They don't have someone to heal them. So beautiful done coming in from Maluka. Willing that aim duel is going to spot out Aphrodite in towards Garage. Nice call into going back. But look at how they rotate. Very proactive here. Show yourself in towards that. Basically, that trigger coming in from Legit Queen. That's gonna be a trade for both sides of the team. 3K for Aluka before being shut down, but it's a 2 versus 1. Legit Queen with only a half a health uses the camera to see the light, but is it gonna be on her darkest days? Let's look at this. They're just gonna buy some time, and Ivory to secure that kill. 7-6. Near scoreline right now, Quack. This is gonna be a close fight.
Pretty darn close. I mean, they were met with quite a bit of resistance in the early half of the round, pushing in towards A, and then they kind of wanted to rotate off a little, but Again, on the other side, it's just not a very, very favorable way of entering because of the way the map is laid out. A is a lot more easier to take. So they somehow decided to come around back after making a little bit of noise. But in all that time, Envious was hiding in that one cubby. She was actually able to take down 2 players, but thankfully, because of the numbers, because of the way that NGX pushes, it's so structured, methodically meandering up, they were able to make the trades happen, and then at the end, they had the numbers advantage. Coming into this one, though, this time a little bit too careless. Aya just gets pushed up front, carrying the spike as well. How are they going to win out in this crossfire now? They're trying to look for it, but Kohibi has something to say about that. She's going to make it an even exchange to start things off, but now the firing range starts to happen. It's going to be RTS looking for the linear gun duels, and when you don't have the best weaponry, that's not something that you should be looking for. NGX, they're going to take the win and bring us to a 7-7.
Indeed, and this is where the magic happens. Like, look at the replay. Okay, you did mention not really taking out those corners, but Aluka was able to compensate for that as she really isolate those fights, take those kills. Notice how, like, Envious was about to peek, but with the help of Ivory and her comrade, like, nope, you're not gonna take down Aluka that easily. As we did see how the heals can really telegraph where you're at, right? So that is just good protection from Ivory. So this is where the magic happens, wherein when you change sides is where you pop off. But Envious still manages to win that fight. Kiprodida as well, taking one of her own before Trix to fully shut her down. 3 versus 4. They have the option to rotate, but then again, look, the numbers advantage still on their side, unless of course they take down another one for an even ground. So maybe they can go for a B side take here for the side of NGX if they are able to destroy the tripwires, or probably gonna go to garage. But they only have one shot at rotating because they only have 50 seconds to spare.
That's right. So it's one shot, one opportunity. Are you going to seize it or are you going to let it slip? I mean, they have to go for it. And you might be right. B actually is the one that's open right now, and they're up against 4 players. So if they can actually take B, maybe get the Astra Nebula up and then play around mid-window, that could work. But instead, they're going to go towards C, where they have to first deal with 2 players and quite the number of stars. Mochi's doing her job at trying to anchor, but unfortunately, a little bit exposed. She's going to eat a bullet from Chloe. Legit Queen's still on site though, and they don't know it. Legit Queen's gonna come up huge with quick 2 kills. Kohibi aiding her in this fight for now. That leaves Trix alone, and unfortunately in towards Cubby. She's not gonna be able to find the favorable angle. Legit Queen takes her down, and this brings us back in 8-7.
This is interesting because look at that. That was supposedly a trade, but the timing was in the hands of Envious. And here, we've been seeing a certain amount of pattern on members of NGX not really looking at those corners despite being predictable at most. So, do you think, Quack, that this could affect the ways on how they're going to take a site? Because I think it is, because if you want to secure it, you might as well go all out, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what we're hoping, but at the same time, you're not quite sure what RTS might do at any given second in the game. Right now, they're actually pushing outside of mid. They've taken down the flank guard, and along with that, maybe just able to pull off an even bigger flank. Even though NGX has the site right now, they're going to get the spike down, but they're basically sandwiched into A. I don't know how else they can defend, but thankfully, Mochi X is actually backing off and going to rendezvous with her team towards A link. So full retakes coming from this spot. Let's see if it plays out. So far, not so good. It's K putting a stop to this, though. She's looking for even more, and now the last player, Trix, up over by short. They expect her to be there. She puts a stop to the first one, wanting to deny the plant, picks up the double. One more player remaining. Envious, one more bullet. It's going to do the trick! And she's going to clutch this out with a Nano Leaf victory. Trix will be able to save her team from almost absolute doom. 8-8.
Let's look at that replay. So Envious here. I was about to mention that they're gonna go sandwich, but both of our teams take those kills respectively, all dwindling it down. But this is a beautiful 1v3 clutch from Trix. Isolation number 1. There's gonna be another as she is quick on her feet to look into the other corners of the A site and to really take advantage of that, you know, seeing the members of RTS being low on HP. She just went ham. You know, it's basically up to this point, clicking your left mouse and your WASD and pray, you know, and it worked well for tricks. And if that's the case, you know, so long as you get the points, it is to be done. But that's great isolation for her. And to start it all off, they are gonna go and take that B site here, quite free to say the least. Because we are seeing RTS full on sheriff, so this could be around for NGX unless stated otherwise. Ivory and Aluka take the kill of their own here. Beautifully done. Uses the turret as bait. Aya, however, takes down Envious here. And again, it is quite predicted that this could be a game for NGX because, again, weaponry and the way that this could be a potential flawless fight, you know?
Yeah, they just went in, brought the party towards RTS, but of course they still have to deal with Kohibi. She could still find a couple more frags, but unfortunately for Kohibi, she's facing against Aya, who's just as sharp. So, even frags. So this time around, NGX just push in towards B, kind of causing a lot of chaos. RTS was a little bit lost. They wanted to find duels, they wanted to find weapons, but they just couldn't get it because this entire round got turned into deathmatch.
Indeed. And you know, this is also the proof of me having a caster's curse because the moment I said it could be a flawless moment is the moment Ivy just said, nope. I'm not gonna have that. And you know, decides to at least take tricks down before anything, right? So this is gonna be interesting with this Envious having the operator. So they really did save a lot. But that's gonna be a gravity pull coming in from Mochi. Let's see. Things are gonna go into light. That's a beautiful dash in. Really gonna try and, you know, catch them off guard. But this ult is quite interesting coming in from Ivory. Tries to deny entry from C side. So they have that luxury to reposition. The moment the ball is down, Aya takes it. Sasageyo, they say, as that wall is not gonna be impenetrable as much. And Kohibi here tries to wiggle peek, but wall bangs! Aya in towards that Radiant box. Showstopper not gonna get anyone in the process, but still, they do have post-plant position. Hunter's Fury gonna take that slowly in towards Combi. They can have the opportunity to defuse, but Hunter's Fury for both sides. From Trick, thank you for Aphrodite. Ivory with the 3K. What is this? Enfuse with one off kill, only to be cleaned up by Ivory with a 4K. 10 points now from Galaxy.
My goodness, this strategy, this execute, we actually saw from RTS towards the end of the first half. They did the same thing. They took a page out of RTS's playbook. Only thing was, this time, RTS actually had a bit of an answer. Like you said, right? They went in Sasageyo. They saw the Cosmic Divide. Doesn't matter. Susume, we will push up front. They were actually able to take down quite a number of players, and along with Aphrodite's Hunter's Fury as well. Only difference was, though, towards the end, they still had to deal with a couple more players in towards C-Long, and that's where Ivory struck them at the best opportune moment. This time around, slightly different. Again, RTS off another eco. They're getting a little bit aggressive.
I mean, basically they have to because either way, they will be having better weaponry on the next round. Aluka though, check the corner. Very good job here. As this time, Aya, is not gonna fall for the same mistake twice. Will be going up and beyond to secure the sites here, giving a lot of space for the team. Beautiful done. Denial of flank. That's gonna be not a spray transfer as Legit Queen takes the kill with the help of, quite a distraction here. But Aluka will be helping her fallen comrade. But Mochi takes one shared kill before Aya for, once again, another cleanup. 8-11 scoreline here. Quack, what happened?
It's a little bit just NGX being so much sharper right now. I mean, of course, RTS not having the best weaponry, you can expect them to be playing some of these cheeky little corners, little off angles, and NGX, I think, just expected that. You saw how Aya was the tip of the spear, leading the charge, pushing up a long. She knew to kind of pre-aim those corners, and that allowed her to collect on easy headshots. And right now, 4 wins in a row is what NGX has got. It just seems like after the initial losses, after the first half, they just, let's get down to business. We want to defeat
the Huns.
The Huns,
definitely.
the RTS.
Indeed, loving your reference right here. But that is basically the play for both sides of the team. So, and into the favorable manner, we do see NGX up and coming. So nicely done. They are now looking at the corners. They're being cautious this time around whenever they try to take over the site, which is a good discipline for NGX. This is the kind of Nigma Galaxy that we know and love. And here for the side of RTS, though, they're gonna try to go for that double peak potential, but Trickster is gonna take down one. Ivory already hovering the beautiful ult to narrow everything down. But you know what? Aluka says, no, I'm gonna go to the other side. And I will see you there. And when can I see you again? Let us see. Because look at all of these utilities. It's just working away. But Kfredite here uses Recon Bolt, but easily denies that intel away from the team.
Yeah, that one lockdown did so much, and now that they have spent all of their utility, nothing left, they don't have an advantageous fight, so pushing out of a link, they're just going to be met with Trix's Vandal. So, you know, that's kind of how these rounds play out. NGX, they've started to build up quite a bit of momentum, a really strong ultimate economy as well. Chloe's lockdown was able to buy so much time and push them off and forcing RTS to expend their utility. It's almost as if, you know, they were like, oh, you want thingamabobs? You want utility? Here, I've got plenty.
Up where they run and up where they go, right? And this is the best play for NGX to do, as this is a very nice timeout for RTS. Once again, we did see 5 consecutive wins for this. Is my counting right? Okay, yes, indeed. Sorry, that's a little bit of a blurred moment. But here, going back, right? NGX, the moment you give them the right timing and momentum to strike, they just go above and beyond. And for Renatus White to actually stop this is just wishful thinking from me, but if they are able to just go ham and, you know, be on a magic carpet ride and just be aggressive despite being the defensive side, you know, maybe they
gonna
could,
show us the world?
create a dream. Yeah, I mean, at this point, any amount of plan can work if it means, you know, if it means being if doing it messy but still getting the job done, you know, like, why be choosy, right?
If it gets the job done, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
Thing is,
if the shoe fits, yeah.
yeah,
There's
the
no
glass
snake in your
slipper.
boot.
I don't know if it's gonna fit right now though, because looking at their weaponry, it's not the best, and at the same time, their positions are. It's a good three stack, but then you got this cosmic divide that just comes out of nowhere.
Oh my.
NGX, they're tapping on the brakes for now, but they still want to aggress, of course. One thing to get the spike down to that one little corner, and Ivory's actually going to get it. They don't even hear the spike getting planted. It's off of the HUD that they kind of figured that out. So, unfortunately, it's a little bit too late. You saw the blast pack going in, but nobody's already there. They've backed off completely, and I don't know how RTS are going to retake this.
Indeed, but the Recon Bolt, can it be of significance here? The wall is being a bit tedious, but Waluka and Io take the kills on their own pushes in towards the side using the updraft, but it's gonna dash away to safety. But can they double peek it? Yes, indeed, as Ivory cleans it up with 3K, 8-13. NGX wins game number 1.
8-13. The start of the first half was 7-5 in favor of RTS. They were so explosive. RTS was incredibly aggressive with their Envious plus Kohibi fragging strategies, just finding entries left and right. But towards the second half, somehow NGX actually just figured things out. They were able to read the game correctly, and off of round after round after round, they just chained these wins back to back. I mean, ultimates, utility, everything went their way.
Definitely. Like, you know that saying in other games, like, so long as the Nexus is alive, there's still the chance to fight. And, you know, here in towards Valorant, so long as you have those points up and running, just keep on going. That's basically what NGX did. But, you know, we'll be getting to see if NGX can lock it in as they advance towards our brackets, or will RTS, you know, make it a bit of an interesting feat and go for round number 3. Stick around. We'll be right back for that.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. Game number 1 going to Nigma Galaxy, and what a dominating way to do it. Just at the very final end of it, we're able to pull it out and come up with a massive stomp towards the end. It was close for the first half, just not so much towards the second. But to break that down is us, your panel here today. My name is Lestrado, alongside me, Jaeger and Donut. So let's begin. So let's begin by talking about what exactly went down in that last match. Donut, I want to hear your thoughts about it. It was a very close one up until the very end when Nigma Galaxy seemed to just put all the pieces together and just go like completely like, oh, this is what we do now. We're going to run over you.
Yeah, early rounds though, it was really Renatus White showing up. But once the sides have been swapped, it feels like NGX just really had and built the Galaxy on their own. And they created all of these planets, which really turned out to revolve around them and their wins. And looking at the scoreboard now, we're seeing here Alaka really popping off as that MVP. But I have to really say as well that Ivory did contribute a lot to the teams, and especially during those clutch situations. As that Astra, I mean, she did perform very well.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it's not just in this game that Ivory was actually insane. She ended the last series with a 4K, by the way, the last time she played here today. And it's just an absolutely amazing turnout of a performance. Now, going into this next game, game number 2 here, things have to start to change here for the side of, Renatus White. They do look more coordinated. I think this is really one of the first times that we can safely say, Jace, this is the first time we can say Renatus White, they really are sticking the fight to Nigma Galaxy. One of the first times we can actually say, oh, they could probably take them down here.
Yeah, I mean, this win scenario in particular is a little bit difficult for Renatus White, simply because Renatus White, they've struggled on Icebox in the past, right? They lost 13-5 to Arikat Aresta, and Arikat Aresta, they lost to the team that eliminated them, which went on to then lose to Nigma Galaxy. So, like, by extension, they've lost this Icebox game already, unless something changes. And that would have to be the defending side, right? On their attacking side, because they're on that attacking side, they have a lot of space for Kahibi to either make that room or to refrag. When you're on that defender side, Kahibi can't be all over the map. You can't rely on that singular amazing player to do all that work, and I feel like that's what happened on Haven as well, especially on the Icebox with those huge long rotates. If they just happen to either pincer Kahibi or avoid Kahibi completely, it makes that retake so much more difficult, and it's that defender side that really has to change it for Renatus White, and they're starting on it, which is a scary prospect.
You're absolutely right here. I was expecting to see a little bit more of those condensed maps, just like the Ascent that we saw. That's when really players like Kahibi, they can start to shine here. But it's going to be a completely different picture, as the last map, Haven, that was actually selected by Renatus White. So their odds very much sinking as we go into this one. Donut, before we get into Agent Select, what are you really thinking over here about, kind of the chances of coming back on Icebox?
Well, you mentioned earlier that NGX might be a little bit tired because of the games that they played earlier, but it's also Renatus White playing the first match of the day. But I think they will take a little bit of life back in their blood, given that this is their favorite map to play in.
Yeah, absolutely. And we took a quick look at the Agent Select, but barely got a glimpse of it. We'll have a little bit of a better look later on into the game itself. But again,
I can tell you what they are if you want, because I got you.
Yeah. Oh, you actually did. You actually did take a screenshot.
I've got you. Yeah, it's a mirror lineup. It's the Reyna, it's the Viper, it's the Sage, it's the Jet, and it is the Soba. It's the quintessential Icebox picks.
It's good to know, actually, none of that process, but I did realize that it's very nice that you have my back in times like these, and that's what I'm taking home today with my little prize. Yeah. And front. But, like, okay,
both,
let's go ahead and pass it over to the casters who are waiting in the wings, right, to deliver this action before things get a little bit too hairy here onto the panel. So, yeah, check it out. Game number 2 coming your way.
Getting a little bit hairy.
A little bit
What is that?
Quote unquote Illustrata. But then again, guys, welcome back to the VCT Game Changers Southeast Asia FSL Elite Day number 3. We're already in our 3rd series and the last match of the day with NGX having their potential match point. So we are your casters, bringing you all the action for tonight. My name's Zero, and with me is the lovely Quack here. And of course, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and in towards the game. And Jaeger, nope, you did not. You're just basically mishearing things, right? And let's go ahead. Going in towards the ropes quickly and steadily. Envious here may try to go for a potential pick, but Aluka starts it with a headshot.
That is already so devastating, and now they know the hit is coming in, but whether or not they can stop this incoming onslaught is a whole other thing. They're trying to kite them, kind of, but it's not happening in towards their favor. Kohibi was taken out. Mochi finds yet another trade, but it's going in towards NGX. They've got one player left to deal with, and that is Legit Queen. Coming in from the B side, so a little bit slow right now. She gets spotted out by Chloe. The Ghosts will just ring true in this round, and 1-0 to start things off. NGX already just seemingly in this whole new form off of the previous win.
And you know, this is the advantage of having that momentum into the first game that you have. It kind of like escalates through, or like it passes on to the second game. So at least for the first round, NGX does have better footing. But right now, in towards this game, we'll see how things are gonna go, because Renatus White, they have their moments where they can pop off, especially with their duelist set play. Kohibi with that rain, that's quite interesting, but they were able to sandwich out Kohibi, which I just aforementioned. Ivory here as well with the trade of her own, but look at that beautiful gun difference. I can show you the world as they go into a carpet ride and taking these sides.
It's just, I don't see this happening. It's already a secret lab flaw. It's only the second round, and this is the round where if you want to have a better chance at winning out the bonus, round number 3, you need to do some kind of damage. You need to take at least 2 or 3 players out so that they won't have the best weaponry in the next one when you go in with a full buy. But they didn't even do that. Secret Lab Flawless goes to NGX, and now it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Aya even comes in with a Vandal of her own. You're going to have a rough time ahead, I think, RTS. They're fighting for their tournament lives right now. They lose this, they are out. And they really need to come together as a team, especially on the defensive side, because Icebox on defense, you can actually rotate and play around the map quite favorably. The only thing is, you need to work together. You need to have crossfires set up whenever NGX tries to approach. Right now, they don't really have that, so NGX just gets to push up front. Chloe, their ex-teammate, goes in, goes aggressive, gets a quick double kill. K4Deity makes it in trade, finds another one as well, a double of her own. We're back into a 3v3, but the spike goes down.
And of course, like, despite Icebox being a cool place to stay, you do see that time and time again for like most of FSL. This is where the heated battle begins. Legit Queen starting it off with another shot, and make it a 2K as Mochi as well tries to secure the side even more. So with that being said, Renatus White denies any further streak of rounds that could have come from NGX. But here is where the happening begins. They were able to sandwich them out and try to take these plays into form. And if Renatus White is able to win this next round, still on a stable even ground.
Stable even, maybe for now. It's not looking too bad, and of course, it almost seems like they were just saying, Hakuna Matata, Quack. It's no worries. we might have lost the first 2, but it's okay. We will recover. And right now, Kohibi going into this round with a Bulldog. I think she could still be really deadly with that thing.
It ain't no dancing craze, but look who's dancing to the tango. As we do see, Aluka, if I'm not mistaken, was able to at least take that. Oh, no, not Aluka. But Morin Kohibi was able to try and get a few injuries or chip damages towards Aya, but still was healed with Chloe. Take a little bit of peek. Aluka is there for keeps, and right now she is creating space for her team to get this B site. And take note, not a lot of people, or actually no one from RTS was guarding it, but Mochi, you know what, takes it in an off angle.
Spike planted.
She's good for that first one. makes it an even 4-on-4. The spike being planted, though, just means it's a little bit extra work for RTS to retake. Of course, though, the fact that they've lost their Viper, legit Queen, makes it a little bit more difficult because isolating these angles is just going to come down to their positioning on the map. So they need to push up together as a team, and that's what they're doing right now. Looking pretty favorable for the time being. Envy is going to aid them with a bit of a cloud burst, but it's icebox. You got post-plant positions. You got snake bites that will fall from the sky. And right now, not watching the left side of yellow, it's going to be NGX that comes up with a big triple kill chained back and forth by Aya and Trix. So 3-1, NGX are still proving to be really, really formidable foes on this map.
And here, let's just take a quick replay here. So that was at least for Mochi, was a great deny for Aluka, but it left the side of NGX unfaltered by it because, you know what, they do have their own aim duels to face, and they did win that earlier in towards that post-plant situation. So right now it forces out the members of RTS to just go all pistols. And this is what's interesting is that basically, in my opinion, if you were on pistols, like just, you know, go for the double triple peaks. But right now, we're seeing they're quite dispersed. They're going on to B side, which is quite interesting. They left A for that, hoping that they were in B, but wall is gonna be there. So look at this, how reactive they got as they managed to spot out that wall. So Chloe is going to get that down, but Mochi with a peak kill with the Sheriff is one of the things that could be the game changer here, but you have to take note, they still have better weaponry.
Interestingly enough, Envious uses the updraft just to displace Aya's crosshair for a bit. They've created a little bit of space for them towards the back of the A site, but I don't know if that's going to be too good because they still need to deal with these automatic weapons that NGX are holding on to. Trix, watching the angle, going to use a bit of a shock to push Kohibi off. She's trying to push them even farther back so that they can maybe stick the spike to at least halfway, but you know, it's still ticking. You got about 20, maybe 10 seconds left at this point, and without the frags, without the eliminations, it's just not meant to be. Kohibi, as well as Legit Queen, unfortunately, will fall to the spike explosion.
Indeed. So let's look at that quick replay here. Mochi, beautiful sharp drill in the process. So right now, Trix and Aya will be getting kills of her own. So basically, it's more on angle isolation, and this is the part where you don't necessarily have to kill them all. The fact that you just need to stall some time to deny that defuse is also a strat, and that it just basically worked for NGX right now. So what do you think is the best case scenario now for RTS? Because the gap is slowly, you know, getting farther apart.
It's really tough, right? Because this is what we're seeing from NGX repeatedly. They're going for the spike plants, and once they get it, they just back off completely. And that just means that RTS, if they want to play retakes, they need to find another entry. It can't be as simple as going in from screens or rafters. And right now, at the very least, if they can stop the spike from getting planted, that is even better. So initial frag just blind spraying through 2 different spots of the toxic screen. They're actually able to suppress and deny one of the players from pushing up front. That's going to be Alka as well, one of the top fraggers for NGX.
Take note, however, that Chloe still has the res to work with, so they are able to give some space. That could be another option, but right now they can have the option of going in towards A as well. But that recon bolt, though, is a huge intel from them, and loving it how Envious is just staying at A side, preventing any potential rotate that can come from them. Meanwhile,
Mochi.
on middle side, Mochi crawling towards the flanks. Let's see if they make wonders there.
I like how they're kind of spreading their forces, but then again, it comes down to whether or not Kohibi, as well as the rest of the squad, can actually stop them from pushing up front. So far, so good. The rest does come in, but it gets denied still. Alka answering back towards Kohibi. She's able to take her down from her top spot. 15 seconds left, though, and the snake bite is buying so much time. I don't think they can get the spike planted. And right now, pushing up front. Who is that girl? I see. It's going to be Envious down to the 1v1. Is she going to take her down? She goes in for the little bit of a micro flick and easily dismissing Trix. RTS claims their second win.
Indeed, and that was a very nice way to secure this round, you know? So we'll be having that quick replay here. This is the spray and pray capabilities of Legit Queen, but you know what? They're not praying because, you know, they're very, very confident with their aim. Legit Queen was able to take a 3K before with all that fiasco, and that flick, however, from Envious. Very nice cherry on top of the ice cream here, so it's very, it was polished enough, but they need 2 more of those so that they can have an even ground. But NGX, so I don't think that they're gonna allow that to happen. Like 2 more so that they can have a 4-4 scoreline.
2 more scoops
Yeah,
of
2
ice
more
cream.
scoops, yeah.
Little nice
And a little
sundae
bit of
going.
cake on the side,
Ooh,
yeah.
cake on the side. Ooh, Zaya.
What cake?
I like this cake though. It's a really lovely green cake, right smack in the center of A, and that blocks it out completely. It's well done by Legit Queen, and it's a big obstacle for NGX to break past. This time around, they still got some automatic weapons to work with. It still could work, but for now, I think firing all these blind shots inside, they're trying to bait someone to maybe push up front when they reload. It's going to be K who's kind of looking for it, but Snakebite goes out, and now that just pushes them back, deters the aggression. NGX has to look for another option in this round.
Oh,
Okay,
but Aluka still gets the one on the flank and towards middle side. They can go for B, but Takedown Envious is also there. So they need to be very, very careful when trying to creepy crawlies. There's gonna be one casualty here. Envious will be taking Chloe down before repositioning. So right there, later on, we will be. I would like to highlight something in towards the replay, but nonetheless, look at this Hunter's Fury gonna come from K490, but Kohaibi though takes Aya down. Trix does have an idea that they are in Snowpile, so I think,
Wow.
oh, still takes it even when she retracted the scope and returned it again. Envious, I am envious of your aim, you know.
Standing ahead.
We're green with Envy, and also green is going to be the toxic screen that kind of blocks it up. Ivory going to make use of that to find the frags, and off of it, she comes in and collects on the very final one, picking up the Quadra to close this out. NGX 5-2. You cannot let them get the spike planted, because once they get it, they're going to have all these different bits of utility just to give them these layers of defenses, even when RTS tries to come in with a retake.
So again, Kohaibi takes down one, and this is where she retracts it, and boom, takes it down the drain. But with that beautiful collateral, at least a slight, or more like spray transfer, there you go, from Ivory is what cleaned up the crew. 5-2 for Galaxies, just really looking beautiful for them, and really, you know, it's interesting because they're starting to really run around, but let's see if RDS can, you know, still catch up to this games, because this is gonna, as we go into towards that technical pause, I would like to highlight something from the previous round. We did mention that pandan cake or that Viper spit coming in from Legit Queen, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But I'd like to highlight that because it covers a lot of angles. Not just that, it denies entry, but from below ground, as well as pipes and nests. So you have to consider that as well. Beautifully done. You have to commend her for that, though. I mean, it kind of takes a lot to place those ults and utilities. So if that were to happen, that's already a huge thing. You force out your enemies to be proactive in the map, and maybe it could have been better if RTS utilizes that mid control, because all right, you force them out of a site, sure, but what's your next gameplay, right? Is to peek out towards mid and maybe, you know, try to go from there. But still, I do believe that RTS can still get those rounds going, because, you know, it's time to set their footing as well. They only have Sheriffs, I think, for this round. Yeah, they're gonna go save to buy better weaponry on the next one. But Quack, what do you think about it?
I honestly concur. I mean, I have to agree with you. It's a well-placed Viper's Pit. The only thing is, they can't just rely on that one ultimate to win the entire round. You might have locked out A. It's a nice, lovely, you know, panda and, I don't know, key lime, mint chocolate cake right in the center. But that leaves B open. And if you don't have players to basically lock that down, you know, who knows? Maybe Legit Queen could have been anchoring A site on her own, or at the very least with the help of one additional player. The rest should have been watching B, maybe mid to some extent. But if you fall and you kind of let the site leak open, it just makes it that much easier for NGX. Like, oh, hey, A is not open, but B is. I'm just going to go there and set up camp. And once they have that going, you got the spike down, and like I said, all those different bits of utility coming in from Ivory, it's really, really difficult for them to go in for that retake to defuse the spike because she's got lineups for days. If you want to retake, you need to find a different way, maybe just push in towards Garage. A lot of different avenues of entry to work with, but RTS haven't quite found an answer just yet. So now Technical Pause has gone off. They're starting the round and they are going aggressive again. This time in towards A. They know that RTS are on pistol, so Chloe just up the top of that one little spot. She's going to find so many different frags. Kohibi, last one alive, trying to keep the dream alive for her team. Takes out a couple more, but he still has to deal with 3. The spike has been planted, and this is really reminiscent of a situation that we saw earlier on.
It's not planted for Heaven, so they may try to just go for crossfires here for the side of NGX, but Kohibi with only a Sheriff to work with, beautiful Toxin as well. Oh, never mind, it's actually planted for Heaven. I was looking from down below, but then that Toxin really one of the beneficial things. Beautiful lineup for the side of Ivory, but here, look, this is what interests me. Chloe already had that audio cue in towards ropes, and yet was still able to get a 2K, and Dink, Dink came for fighting before being taken down by Trix. That's just interesting to me, to say the least, but you know, if it works, it works. If the shoe fits, then go. There's no snake on that boot, but right now, NGX is really taking everything, you know, like every amount of points that they can in towards this first half.
It's really, really difficult, and you know, talking about the end of this first half, it's already looking pretty darn good for NGX, but Envious might have something to say about that. She's got her operator, and she's trying to make a difference on the A site, at the very least locking it down. She has been in this position before. Instantly with an opening pick, though, NGX will be able to find one as well in towards B, but they're actually not headed towards that site, and that is kind of questionable. In fact, they're going to re-peek Envious, and that kind of causes them to fall. Why are they doing this?
I mean, as well, I mean, if you are to face an operator, might as well go for the double peak, right? But, you know, it didn't happen, and Res is going to happen once more for the side of RTS. And Envious is back on board with Own and Aluka, and Chloe are separated. You have to take note of that. But I love it how Aluka is in the position to deny these flanks here. So they do know that Aluka is in kitchen, which forces her now to reposition. But she is still going back, trying to take that fight. However, we see Envious in towards, you know, having that operator. Hunter's Fury not going to hit anyone, not Chloe per se, but still, I like this position. This is interesting. It's quite risky, double-edged sword if you may, but ooh, is this gonna be the timing? Yes, indeed. As Aluka takes one, is it gonna be another to further even up the ground? She just needs to jiggle peek here. She can jiggle peek in here. Oh, beautiful one, and Chloe for the 4K as the cleanup crew. So Aluka here is the bait, or if anything, she's the distraction. No. Actually, this is a good thing. This is a good thing, right? Let's look at that replay here. So Envious was able to take Trix down, and Chloe here trying to pop off, starting it with taking down Kohibi off angle kill for Aluka, and look at how she did it from earlier. There's no replay to that, but earlier she was to and fro with the Lear jiggle peek, another Lear jiggle peek for Ivory in towards yellow to have that secured fight, and that's amazing, you know?
Exactly.
That's one of the strategies that you can clearly see, and you can clearly know how NGX works.
Draw the attention away from the initial push, meanwhile your teammate strikes them from the back. It's classic NGX, and they're doing it again now aggressively in towards A. RTS off of another eco, this time not going to pay off at all. Envious's knives were not even useful. This time, it's Kfredite, the last one alive. She spots out the foot, looking for the head, but unfortunately, can't quite find it. Secret Lab flawless goes to NGX.
You see that comfort that was in that game? You know, I think we're gonna have a replay of that right now. So look at this. Angle isolation 1 uses the E, angle isolation Q. The other company of NGX goes for the secured kill, and to end it all off, Trix is gonna get that point. And again, flawless coming in, that comfort, you know, especially that I wanna just flex that, you know, ergonomic enhancements for supreme comfort of that secret lab you're currently sitting in. Yeah, I mean secret lab cutie win. Yeah. Anyway, going back in towards that game, 8-2, NGX really dominating in towards this half. If they are able to make it into 2 more rounds, I mean they may be in a lax position come the second half.
It's just, it looks way too good for NGX right now, and not good enough for RTS. They've been trying to stop and stall the plants from going in, but anytime they're on an eco, they just get walked over. Now they have the guns. They really need to put a stop to this, because if they don't, you might be looking at a 10-2 first half, which is the worst thing in the world. They're going off of the Viper's Pit, though, and that is just another huge obstacle for RTS to break through. Before, they kind of had the blind sprays, but this time around, they kind of been caught in like a deer in headlights, but thankfully MochiX pulls out her weapon first. So, able to dismiss 2 players now. They're looking for the final 3. Kohibi sprays past it, and of course the trades will come in very, very nicely. The wall goes up, and it's one that really helps out RTS. So, thankfully, this time around, they come back in with a win. They could just turn this into an 8-4, but they still got to be careful. NGX, off of all those wins, they can afford to buy so many guns. So many guns.
Yeah, you can basically say that they are healthy in terms of economy. And for the side of RTS, that is your main objective, to say the least, for this half, is that you can just get as much points as possible. So 8-4 is their viable scoreline for the second half, so maybe they can pop off 2 and, you know, win rounds consecutively. But here, Envious is not gonna take that hit here. I mean, not gonna take that shot, rather, as it was quite a miss. But I think NGX kind of predicted that with the numerous times that Envious stayed into that area. So Recon Bolt gonna detect Aluka and just, you know, just try to dazzle Mochi from the behind. Raptors gets a kill. It's gonna be another one, those spray transfer, but no, Chloe and gang will be having that peak here. And look at the tablet from Aluka! But Kfredite from behind Raptors is able to take her down. Trix with only a half health. Oh, Kfredite still takes Ivory in the process. Does she has time though? Is it enough to isolate though?
She's taking it.
She's taking it! That's one. Is it gonna be another? No! No! Kohibi was able to secure it, to say the least. So right now, 8-4 now before they, you know, switch their roles. But what do you think about this, Crack?
I mean, she was trying to wall bang. Somehow the stray bullet actually caught another player, Kfredite, instead. But still, once you stick it halfway, you might as well go all the way. And she was able to get it, and there we have 8-4. It seemed like the solution was to fight fire with fire. Previously, it was just NGX knowing that, okay, we have the opportunity to, once we sound off Envious's first op shot, we can just push in. They create so much space so aggressively that they kind of weren't expecting a player like Mochi to be hiding in that one little corner watching the angle. The initial frag really slowed down their pacing and allowed for RTS to push up front and find a big firefight that helps them out. This time around, of course, it's going to be the second half. RTS are going to be the ones attacking. They're trying to bank everything on this B site. The toxic screen is up there. Kohibi as well as Envious trying to find those entries, but what they don't expect is going to be Ivory sneaking around the other side of the yellow box. She gets taken out though by Kfredite with a classic of her own. So very nicely done. Can they get the spike planted? Not yet. Snowpile is still a big problem. Alika is still incredibly accurate and deadly. With surgical precision, she's looking to find an incisor and basically cut them apart. 2 players remaining on the side of NGX, and they're still trying to wallbang past it. Spike has already been planted though, so it's not going to be that easy. And right now, because this is Icebox, the post-plant positions are just so good.
Oh, reloading into our open. Kohachi still takes Aluka down, and Legit Queen to clean it up 8-5 here. This could be, the chase for the scoreline. Let's look at that quick replay. So Aluka is on her feet, taking down members of RTS, but that reload though, an impeccable timing for Aluka, and really fortunate for Kohachi as she just takes advantage of that. So what a way to win that pistol round for the side of RTS.
And interestingly enough, they're looking to really come back in this second half. Legit Queen purchasing the Bulldog, the rest of her team on Spectres. As long as they don't lose their weapons, they will be able to continue right forth on this wave. But again, they need to win these duels first. So all this utility, it's kind of telegraphed. NGX knows it's going to be a B hit. Question is, how are they going to respond to it though? You got Chloe hiding in this one little corner. Can't really peek out and deny the plant, so they're just sitting ducks for the time being.
Full-on retake for the side of NGX here. Post-plant positions for RTS is at play. Tricks, however, this could be a game for them since, again, better weaponry is going to be the play as Aphrodite takes the flank down, not neglecting anything. And VS also for a kill of her own. And look up! What? Getting that!
Damn.
2 shirts down, and that's a Yahoo!
This is...
For the side of NGX, what was that? Okay, let's look at the replay. Beautifully done by Aphrodite. I mean, and then this is where things started to go a bit haywire. Collateral done by Aluka back there. And Chloe, just to secure it, taking down Mochi. You know what? As I say that RTS is gonna win that, I again jinxed it.
It's the caster's curse,
This
it's
is
prevalent.
the second time.
But you know what? This is the strength of this specific agent composition. That's why they kind of have it on a mirror. The only thing is, because NGX is a little bit more structured, a little bit more rehearsed, they already have all these different contingency plans. If the spike gets planted, it doesn't matter. We have the strength of a Sage to put that wall up and basically stick the defuse all the way, especially on the second round when you're dealing against Spectres. It's a little bit difficult to take off a panel of the wall. So right now, off that win, they got the Vandals. RTS trying to push up front. They're just walking into a blender at this point. Kohachi still really tenacious, looking for even more. Tries to reposition herself. Spots a couple of legs, but won't be able to connect it so easily. Envious falls, and Kohachi finds an exchange. She's looking for the last one, but it's going to be Ivory with a Vandal. Too difficult, a little bit too far as well. Doesn't really nail the shot, and NGX have twice of what RTS has got, 10-5.
That is the replay here. So there are trades across the board, but they are, Ivor still is able to secure that cleanup, 10-5. As you mentioned, 3 more for the best case scenario for NGX, and for the side of RTS, they need to really have that, to find that weak point rather, for the side against NGX, just so that they can have a breathing room. But Blade Storms will be taking Aluka down. That was actually a nice prediction from Envious, knowing that someone may be above those pipes from earlier. So that alone is good. So they are able to go and take a site here. Nicely done, at least for Kohachi. Envious for that second kill. I was about to say that it was nice of Aya to not peek easily, but you know what? Aya was able to shut down Envious from further getting kills with her Blade Storms. Recon was going to detect one, but Aphrodite still takes Aya down. Ivory for the trade. Oh, we do see a potential lineup that's going to come from Legit Queen here later, but Ivory takes one down. This could be a Toxin, yeah, from Legit Queen. Let's see if they are able to isolate the fight.
They've got enough.
This is a 2 versus 2. Tricks already knows that Mochi is here, but that was a close call for Ivory, but Tricks just take advantage of that. He didn't have enough time though.
Yeah,
no time. Oh, half?
Wait.
It's half? No. Okay, my little heart. My little heart. And that is a beautiful nano leap clutch moment by RTS. So let's start it off. And this is a beautiful prediction from earlier. Bit of a whiff on the Blade Storm, so Aya could take advantage of that. So this is what questions me at times, because she was detected, to say the least, but Aya still managed to pull through. But right in towards this side, you know, it was a very nice attempt for NGP, but the time wasn't of the essence in their side.
Yeah, not really. And that is all thanks to Legit Queen with her toxins. And this is where I think it really starts to show that RTS is a team that plays off really wonderfully off of the entry fraggers that they've got. Envious, Kohibi, or anyone else really. If they can find opening picks, if they can create space, they will be able to get the spike planted. They will be able to come out with the win. When they don't though, then it's going to be a very different story. But here we go, off of the fact that NGX has only an eco. They're just going to run in towards the A side, past pipes, past the maze. They're looking for some frags, but what they don't expect is Chloe hiding in one of the smokes. But it doesn't even matter. They have the guns to just mow down every single player from NGX, and they will do it. So 10-7 now. Can this be the start of the RTS comeback?
Start of something new. Feels so right to begin with RTS, and this could be it, because this is the pros of having the attacker side, right? Having the aggression. So we just saw it in towards that replay, and then in that round specifically, that Envious was able to isolate, helping with the help specifically of her cloudburst or her smokes. Because if that happened, she was able to take a pixel peek, and the pandan cake that we have right now is in light as well. So I like it, however, how Kohibi just goes for that spray, just so, you know, an attempt to take one down. But the investment of RTS in staying further here is quite the question, because it's either they fake it or they make it to the B side. But right now, members are stacked here. What do you think is going to be the outcome?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it seems like they're trying to fake it till they make it, but it's not going to happen. You already got so many players stacked up on that spot that they're not going to be rotating off anytime soon. The only thing is, 2 players trying to watch out from maybe Snowman or Kitchen, one more from Snowpile. You gotta be extraordinarily careful when you approach the B site, and that is why Kohibi needs to be the one storming the front right now. She's got her Leer out, buys a little bit of space, but they need to deal with Chloe. Envious is gonna be the one to do that, and off of that one frag, they might have just opened up the B site. Still though, 2 players, Alka as well as Aya, on towards the back of Snowman. They're trying to put a stop to whatever RTS is trying to pull off. Mochi's just going to use the space that they've created from mid to get the spike planted. And right now, with numbers advantage, they've managed to dismantle whatever NGX was trying to rotate over. Ivory, last one alive.
Koibi was not able to see Ivory as she passes into Warza. And here we do see she can go for that potential close, but she is detected, and from behind Koibi just cleans it up. 10-8 now. We're starting to see a bit of a how do you call this? A toned down moment for NGX, and maybe if they can set their footing down a bit, because this is a swap of roles. So with the weaponry that they have, maybe they're gonna play passively, but in the mini map, they're quite eyeing out for a double peek here.
Well,
To say that, what do you think?
with Sheriffs, it could work. If you got 2 targets to deal with, it's going to be that much more difficult for RTS to nail their shot. But at the same time, it's not easy to land a Sheriff shot. Then again, it's the NGX girl, so who knows? But whatever it is, RTS are certainly doing a really good job right now. NGX, they need to find a different solution to whatever RTS are proposing to them. It seems like aggression is what they're looking for, just because they are on eco, so why not go for the aggressive peaks? Unfortunately, it actually works out for the first one at the very least. Kohibi makes it a trade though, and now Alka comes back. Rez went towards Envious though. And here's the thing, RTS has all of these different ultimates to work with. So does Trix, so she stops the plant from going through. If Alka can actually push up along with that Hunter Sphere, she might be able to stop it from going down, but no,
Oh,
Spike gets
that's a
planted
combo.
regardless. Alka still deadly, able to get a quick flick. It's the third one already. If she can get even more, RTS might just have to type in GG. Mochi trying to hide around, goes in for the spray, takes Trix down, and then Alka redeems herself, and along with this, the win for RTS, keeping the dream alive yet again, 10-9. GX might be time for them to call in a timeout.
Could be, because again, you would want to, you know, try to tone down the moment and deny any further momentum because it's in the hands of RTS right now. So Auluka here really popped off, but unfortunately the tides weren't in their favor. And this could have been a scenario wherein they could have double peaked, but then again, you know, they just really reacted in a way that they know best for the side of NGX. So right now they may have the redeeming value. To be fair, they only had Sheriffs to work with, and that alone was already a close call. So right now they're eyeing on towards mid, going into B. I'm just wondering if they are able to see Chloe in the process, but they're still gonna plant the spike. They know.
Chloe saw all of it, got all the information necessary, but then again, the duels are still just as good for Kohibi. This time, not so much. The sprays just didn't quite connect onto its trick. So NGX actually still very much so alive in the second half. Off of some little bits of info, as well as keeping themselves hidden, they were actually able to snatch the win away. 11-9. RTS can't afford to lose this one. If they do match point, it's going to be that much scarier. So if your palms are sweaty, if your knees are weak, and your arms are heavy, you got to call in a timeout or maybe a technical pause. Really take a breather and kind of figure out what's going wrong.
Yes, and you just really got to put your effort now in here for both sides of the team, but a bit more pressure for the side of RTS because they need those at least 2 more rounds to just, you know, equate the board. So RTS timeout, this is actually a good call for them, just so that they can deny the sudden uprising of the NGX from the previous one. So because of this, I feel like with the remaining 2 rounds for the side of NGX, they may try something different because they did already from the previous one, right? So what is stopping them from trying something more aggressive or more structured, I'd say the least? So for the side of RTS, they need to at least utilize the flanks if ever, because they haven't done that as much if you notice from the previous rounds, right? If it's either they haven't done that or they're denied of that, so either way. But I mean, it's still the play. But right now, Hunter's Fury gonna detect Aluka. Let's see if he is able to work it out and dance to the tango. Not gonna detect or not gonna get some damage to anyone to say the least. So Hybe already in a position, as well as the Viper Spit. Mochi goes for the plant.
Trix is going to try to deal with that with her shock bolts, though. Doesn't quite find anyone just yet. Maybe Mochi's around the edge, so not all that much damage. And this just means that RTS, they're going to be making use of this Viper Spit, staying inside of it, watching the corners, the edges of it, if anyone tries to push up front. Envious trying to aid them through pipes, and of course, walking into Viper Spit just means if you don't have a plan, it's going to be a death zone. Whatever it is, though, they still managed to come out of that a little bit victorious. Aya is in this one 1v2.
No time.
She doesn't have time, that's right. So trying to snick it is going to be Envious coming around the back, and K just takes it away anyway. 11-10. RTS are still alive, and off of this, they're starting to build up quite a bit of economy.
That is just interesting. Let's look at the replay here. I was able to take down Kohibi and Legit Queen in towards Viper Spit with that 3k, but they failed to see Envious here. And Envious just needed to deny that defuse from Aya, and that's just all it needed. So they just need one more before that, you know, equilibrium in the scoreboard. So what do you think can NGX do just, you know, to secure this match point?
Maybe not this one. They don't have the best gun. Sharon's Judge Stinger. I mean, it kind of worked out once or twice, right? They did get a couple of Yahoo Thrifties. But yeah, this time, Envious, the fact that RTS is already fully aware of this situation, they're in the zone. Oh, wait, actually, maybe not so much. Chloe's still underneath. She gets a little bit aggressive, swaps to her sidearm. She's going in for the right clicks, misses! And MochiX recovers, thankfully. Still into this one with a 3-on-4. But what they don't expect is maybe two players, Ivory and Aya, coming in from the back. Oh no, actually, K4Dai is fully aware of that.
So K4Dai and the gang from RTX is able to create their plays, and as you mentioned it, they are going to get that 11-11 scoreline. This is a close fight. They were able to crawl their way up, you know, and here on towards that replay. This was a bit unfortunate for Chloe, to say the least, within a bit of those rounds, but still, RTS just clean up that win. And for this specific round, we do see NGX already having their respective rifles at hand. The same thing with RTS. They are eyeing out Furby. This is interesting. Look at how our NGX is placed in towards the map.
Trying to go for that real A/mid control, maybe using the toxic screen to play under tube as well. At least this would be a great position for stopping any potential B pushes, but they still, they actually need to get the frags to capitalize on it. They will be able to stop the panel of the wall, and along with that, the shock darts will go through, but unfortunately just a little bit shy of where Mochi is positioned. The spike will still get planted.
And goes for the full retake as Aluka takes Envious down, who's been very tedious to work with. Aya goes for that dash in towards the yellow. Here spots out as Chloe and the gang go for that double peek. This is the one that we've been looking for from earlier, and they were able to secure it this time with no holds back. And look, no holding back as the members of NGX actually secures a match point.
With a secret lab flawless too. I mean, what the heck? You might have Aluka to start off the initial frags, Trix aiding her in that as well, using her utility, but it truly was Chloe as well as Aya being so aggressive that they got the pivotal frags to stop RTS from re-aggressing and stopping the defuse from going through. That's incredible stuff. I don't know where that sudden surge of confidence or courage just came from, but they just pressed W and pushed up front. RTS did not look ready at all for that onslaught. And right now, match point. If RTS loses this, it's game over. They need this round, so they have to be extra careful. Trying to play it methodically, though. I don't know if they're actually able to find it. Off of that little corner of the dome, Envious is able to find one. Still, do they expect Aya to be in this corner?
Maybe, because they did have the moments where RTS also played themselves here. If I'm not mistaken, at least either Envious or Kohaibi. But right now, it's quite... They're trying to test the waters here for both sides of the team. Who gets the peak first? Who gets the upper hand? And I like it how she's trying to depict someone from above pipes. Because if this works for her, she can just dash out away, right? So let's see if it's gonna really come into like uses the leer. Kohaibi spots her out. Aya uses the dash right now.
Oh no.
Will it work though? Oh, Aluka goes for the shutdown. Keeper lighting for the trade. Aluka as well with her own. Mochi as well. They're putting the for 94. Taking Chloe down and only Trix to stay here. We might actually go overtime.
Oh, that depends on whether or not Trix can clutch this out 1v3. They certainly don't know that she's past screens, though. Oh, but K4Dai is kind of... Wait, no, she didn't tag her. They still don't know that Trix is here. She's coming up on the other side of pipes. Finally spots K4Dai, takes her down. Swaps to another Vandal, but yeah, 8 rounds in that chamber. And Mochi X, off of that information, already positions her crosshair into that one spot where she knows Trix will show up from. Deletes her. 12-12, we go into overtime, Zaya.
This is the call that I did not jinx this time around, but you know, I gotta apologize for that side comment while you were saying, because my little heart, you know, like I'm
You
pretty
can't
sure,
take
like,
it.
yeah, right. Well, like even you, Quack, right? Like you think it's that, but then suddenly, nope.
Nope.
Right? You have that moments, right?
We all have those moments. Trix made it a little bit close, but unfortunately for her, the initial frag was just not enough. So OT1, I'm not quite sure who to root for right now because both sides are really, really even. RTS seems to have figured out a way to play defense, and at the same time, NGX kind of struggling a little bit. Envious again with that same elevated position is able to collect on one more head. Now she's looking for the next one. You know, off of that information, NGX could actually maybe rotate around the back, and that's what they're trying to do.
This is quite interesting. I would like to try their crosser, but Aluka takes legit Queen off guard right here, and that's at least intel for the side of RTS. And oh, okay, they're marching towards B. But are they gonna stick to the plant though? Because she was quite far. Take note that Ivory is also watching flank, so she could get a 2K from mid. But no, they did
Wall.
not meet their ends. Let's see though, because the spike is gonna be planted. I'm looking at minimap right now. Quack, what do you think about this?
It's a little bit chaotic. There's so many different moving pieces that you basically need to isolate it down to mid, garage, as well as snow pile. They're trying to make that happen, but garage is a little bit too precarious. You got two players trying to push up front. Thankfully, though, you got Chloe to stop that initial push. Now the only one left is going to be Kohibi, and she was all the way from Snowman. Now it's going to be Lab. She's pushing up front, using the Leer to maybe create a little bit of space, push up front, lead the post-plant positions, but what she doesn't know is that Trix is just playing that close as well over by yellow. So many different possible angles that Kohibi this time around just maybe running out a little bit of juice. It's going to be NGX.
Yeah, but to start it off, we can't deny Envious really started that for the side of her team really well with that pixel peak. But right now, it's just basically onto the retakes. They were not able to secure it as much because you gotta consider how NGX positioned themselves there and towards B side. They placed themselves in a favorable manner, and numbers advantage you can clearly see from there. And it was a nice attempt, but this is potentially another match point for NGX unless they, of course, deny it, because this time, NGX is in the defender side, and we did see RTS winning their attackers, so let's see.
Yeah, swapped sides. RTS looked to be a little bit more comfortable on this one. Of course, though, they're thinking about overwhelming the A side, but might not be the right call. You already have players positioned somewhere around mid. They can rotate on the go as long as they need it. So RTS being extra careful about this. They still haven't gotten anything though, because that is how careful, how safe NGX are playing. The way RTX approaches these rounds is to always have all 5 members sticking together, and sometimes that doesn't work out too well, but for a burst, it certainly could as long as they find the frags. Aya still on this off angle, dies to Kohibi. It's the entry fragging queens again, and they're going in ham non-stop. 3 kills already, and Alika is gone now. Ivory, last one left alive, coming in from the top of Boiler. I don't think she's going to be able to find this one. Of course, it's going to be Envious with a quadruple. Secret Lab flawless as well.
Flawless one, but let's look at the replay here. Envious was able to take down Aluka from behind Raptors and to jiggle peek it all through into spawn, taking that 4K. Beautifully done. So we're gonna go on the second overtime here. Ooh, like for both sides of the teams, their attacking phases are working wonders.
Yes.
But their defending side is interesting. It's basically who gets to defend. No. I'm not meaning anything from that. It's just that in terms of attacking, both of our teams have the higher chances of winning, because if you notice, both NGX and RTS are aggressive. But Envious is starting it off really well with that first blood scare, and Chloe for that trade. Envious for a kill of her own with Aya to finally end the streak. So 3 versus 3, still in equity here in terms of numbers. And they don't know Kohibi is yet to be in kitchen, but they're marching their way through. They're marching their way towards mid to A, and they did miss legit Queen in the process, but Aya
could
Aya.
do so much.
Aya, look into your right, and that's gonna be a beautiful kill in there. 2 versus 3. Mochi has yet to try to make wonders here, but that's gonna be a fight between Aya and Kohaibi and Mochi. They are under Raptor, so that's intel. Aya gets and wins that fight, uses the Leer, gonna be pushed, uses the terrains, but Trix is there to end the day. That's gonna be a win for the side of NGX, but still match point. So if for NGX winning condition, they have to win this defensive side. For RTS, they have to win this attacking side.
They need to push us into the 3rd overtime. But that's where I'm a little bit iffy. I mean, I want to believe in the RTS girls as much as possible, but the way that they've been approaching the attacking sides, I mean, defending, it kind of comes down to who reads the situation better. In that time, because of Aya's positioning, they had no idea. There was no way that they could have gotten it unless someone spotted out Aya. On their attacking, yeah, they got the opening picks, it would be so much better. But if NGX just play incredibly defensive, it kind of comes down to a bit of a gamble. RTS, the way they approach the A site, it comes down to these really close-range duels, which can be 50-50. Whoever reacts faster is going to win it. And right now, Ivory hearing all these footsteps, she's going to be prepared.
Oh, that's intel. The moment she shoots the Leer is the moment she pinned herself down, but Aluka and Trix goes for the respective trade. 3 versus 3 now. Take note that Trix is quite half health, and Mochi, Envious was healed by Mochi. That was a point taken, so they can go for double pings, but Kohaibi was preempted already towards spawn. Aluka for the trade. Can she still see Kohaibi from above? No! There's a duel for Trix. Only forcing everything to a 1v1, uses the shock dart, uses utilities, everything, but the timing is really bad. Mochi, and we are gonna go to is this the 3rd overtime?
Yes,
right?
It is.
Oh.
Down to the 1v1s. Mochi again, Nano Leaf clutches and saves the day, keeping the dream alive for RTS. It's going back and forth, truly, but it comes down to the fact that RTS are that much more comfortable on the attack. On the defensive side, still not so strong. They might have Envious on an operator sometimes, but even off of opening picks, the rest of the team, the rest of the squad, just unable to really adapt to the situation. NGX are doing such a great job at kind of toying with them. You see all of these fakes. This time around, it seems more like an A commit, so I don't know, could be completely different.
Yes, but you have to take note on the flanking side, we do see Envious there as well, so Chloe's going to be detected. A lot of utilities are to be thrown at, right? So with Kohaibi not gonna have any Leer to use for later, let's see how this thing goes. Look at this! Shock darts, low orbs across the floor! They're trying to pin down the members of NGX, but Aluka still wins the fight against Mochi Cage, presiding for the trade. Is it gonna be another for Kohaibi? Yes, indeed! But they're gonna pin down the members of NGX. Could this be the breaking point? Envious from the behind and the flanks! That one time where they don't watch flank is the moment where Envious uses it to their advantage.
You said it, Zaya. This is possibly the breaking point. All of a sudden, RTS this time around, just because NGX wasn't really doing anything too spectacular, they were just going in for the 5-member commit in towards A, they were actually able to read the situation, even sending Envious on a trip off her own, going for that big flank opportunity. The rest of the squad really holding down the front lines. This time around now, it's going to be RTS on the attacking side. Let's see how NGX defends. They're trying to get a little bit aggressive, maybe for a little bit of info, but info comes at a cost. She's given up her position, and now she's forced to reposition. RTS trying to rotate around that.
Tries to rotate in a very stealthy measure as well, so they kind of have a different approach in terms of their attacking this time around. And I still like it how Aya is not letting go of her position in towards B, but this is the risky part. She's just alone, and of course, her being alone here, it may be quite difficult, but that's going to be alert coming in from Kohaibi, who is going to secure that kill from towards yellow. Could this be a point from RTS right now? The wall is up. waiting for that head and above those boxes. And they were able to spot in some amount of positioning for the side of RTS, and beautiful wall, but Goibi still takes Trix down. It is a bit of a choking point for NGX right now because this is match point for RTS.
It is. They've got all the post-plant positions ready as well. Ivory trying to take the fight to them though, but it's not going to happen regardless. Kohibi dismisses away, buys a little bit extra time, and then just re-aggresses. Legit Queen climbs up to the throne and takes the win away from NGX at overtime 3, 16-14. RTS are going to push us into map number 3.
That was started from this. Now we're here. You know, this is the legit quote unquote, so long as there's points go above and beyond, and RTS just proved it to us that even when situations are dire, they were able to stand up on top. That's 3 overtimes. Imagine both of our teams having that mental state and their stamina. You have to consider that. But again, this is a 1-1 score line for both of our teams. We're gonna go for game number 3.
Who knows, right? I mean, they fought tooth and nail. It was a tremendous comeback towards the second half that RTS pushed us into overtime, and then finally somehow actually able to edge it out over NGX. Whether or not they have enough stamina and momentum to push forth into map number 3, though, we will have to find out after this break. But of course, thank you to our sponsors, Nanoleaf, Secret Labs. We got the giveaways, we got the promotions. Check it out inside the Twitch chat. We got the commands. But truly, this is going to be for all the marbles. Whoever wins this will be able to proceed in towards the lower bracket finals, and whoever loses, unfortunately, tournament life, is going to be diminished. So it's going to come down to this map, and you don't want to miss it. We're going to be back right after these breaks.
Game number 3, we go as NGX drop the ball a little bit in that one. Get forced into overtime multiple times, 4, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But in the end, Renatus White hanging on by a thread. Go to the last map of the day here, and you're joining us in the Valorant Game Changer Southeast Asia series, and this is FSL Elite. My name is Illustrato, joining me for their last panel segment of the day, Jaeger and Donut. So let's go ahead and talk about what just happened right there. I'll start with you, Jaeger. Okay, 4 overtimes, and then they still managed to lose it. What's going on?
I mean, it's exactly what we were talking about before, wasn't it? It was the fact that on the attacker's side, Renatus White, they can rely on Kohibi. And it just so happens the attacker's side is incredibly advantageous on Icebox. And so,
who knew?
What does that mean? It means that if Kohibi can perform, you're going to have a great attacker side. Now, what it really boiled down to was that final round, wasn't it? It was the fact that Kohibi managed to steal away, the second to last round. It's that Kohibi managed to get on the offensive on their defending side. Something that I thought that Nigma Galaxy had to try at some point, and they just never were able to bring that out. Nigma Galaxy, on that defending side, they just looked lost. They didn't know how to fight their way back in. They kept trying to go for the retakes. Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, try and play the offensive on the way back in. The problem is, when you're playing retake the way they were playing retake, they had no map control, which means that when you're trying to retake, you're retaking from a CT position. And you're not going to have that advantage at all going back into the site where they've got all these attacker positions that they're still holding from. And when they were going on the flank, good thing for Renatus, they were watching for those flanks. So there's really no space that Nigma Galaxy could pick up there.
Oh, you just saw the absolute Reyna versus Reyna battle. It was Kohibi versus Aloka, absolutely popping heads. But in the end, it was Kohibi squad that did end up prevailing here. Donut, going to the last game of the series. Anything that we should be expecting, anything that we're hoping for, and anything that we can maybe, hope to see in the very last game of the day. You know, Jace, Jaeger, it is a little bit of a Galaxy Racer. They like these overtimes, don't they? It isn't the first time that we're seeing them go into like multiple overtimes.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Nigma go through on. Well, I mean, yeah. So between Mad Army, right? They went overtime twice on both maps, and now here they are again. They hit another one, but going into Split looks a little bit better after we saw that TC Arise game.
Yeah, they're a team that definitely likes to run it to the overtimes, and even going to the previous FSL Opens. It's just been that story time and time again here. But welcome back, Donut. I think we have you now.
Hello. Yes, I
Right. Okay,
think I
cool.
can
So,
be heard now.
yeah, well, good. Because we need your opinion on this. So tell
Yeah,
us a little bit more about that previous
yeah.
game.
What I was going to say is really they had this insight that they didn't really have that killjoy to watch the flanks. So it was really what defined that loss for them was that flank from Envious getting that double kill through just that flank, and it all went downhill from there. Because in terms of the attacks, they always would lose it. So, I mean, now for the map of Split, I would really like for NGX to really stay strong and continue on the momentum, because if Renatus White would steal away these rounds that are supposed to be theirs, then it's going to be really something challenging for them. But for the map of Split, I'm expecting really a revenge from NGX.
Well, here we are taking a look at the agents now. It's going to be Chloe hitting on the Sage, who performed really well up against her former team. Just so you guys know, if you aren't familiar, Chloe used to be on Renatus White, now has been picked up by Nigma Galaxy, and they have been looking quite strongly on it. Now they definitely want to. Well, Chloe definitely wants to take this victory, Jaeger, and it's all like bragging rights, and you're like, yeah, I made the right decision to go to this team. A lot of it goes down to that.
I mean, yeah, like you got a bit to prove there. You want to be like, okay, this was the right choice for me. Between these two teams, like they both know how to pick their agents here on Split. The last time we saw Renatus play was against Celeste, and they actually went 13-11 against. Sorry, they went 11-13 against Alter Ego Celeste on Split, which means they did a really good performance against Alter Ego Celeste, who have now gone on to be grand finalists. So what that means for Nigma Galaxy, I'm not entirely sure. If I don't think they're that even. That does make me lean a little bit more towards Renatus, because they won earlier 13-1 against TC Arise. That was a huge advantage for them. But TC Arise against Celeste, against Renatus, we don't really have a great pillar of comparison to lean them against.
Absolutely, but well, all comparisons aside, now we're ready to go into the game, because this is going to be the final one, the last hurdle for one of these teams to get into that lower bracket final, and the casters are going to tell us all about it.
Oh my god. I kind of just, before we go into the game, sudden thought just entered my mind. How does Jace or Jaeger pronounce the word garage? Would he say garage or garage? I'm not
to
sure.
me, it's definitely Garage. And I also just noticed today that, Donut and Jaeger had like matching outfits. So
Ooh.
nice props to you guys. And you know what? Going back, welcome again back to the Valorant Game Changer Southeast Asia Series FSL Elite third day. This is the final match. No more takebacks. Both of them were able to reset, and both of them are at potential match points. So this is all or nothing, as our panelists have mentioned from earlier. This is do or die for both of their tournament lives, and I'm expecting a close fight, but in terms of statistics, I am leaning a bit towards Renatus White, simply because they have been showing wonders in towards this map. A big iron wall, especially when they're on the defender. So you just really want to take consideration of that, but not neglecting the prowess as well of NGX here, Quack. I am still hoping for them to find breaking points as well, because again, this is the very last piece, so they want to make everything out of it.
I think they definitely do. It can come really close, but I think it also depends on how the girls play. I mean, looking at how they've played it in the past before, of course, I think Nigma Galaxy just might have the bigger buff coming into this one, because they did play this map earlier in the day against TC Arise, on which they won 13-1. 13-1. So they got to be really, really comfortable on this map now. And I think that is why it's intentionally left to be the final map that decides who gets to move forward into the lower bracket finals. Renatus White, they don't always have the best performance on a map like Split. Sometimes if they don't really get their entries, they start to shake a little bit. But the thing is, the fact that they're starting to work together a little bit more, they've got Envious, Kohibi working together as a duo in all of these entry frags, it actually could work out. I mean, they've actually took Alter Ego Celeste towards basically almost all the way. It wasn't really overtime, but 13-11. In the past, I would have thought, okay, Alter Ego Celeste on Split, you know it's their map, but Renatus actually had something to say about that. The only thing is, though, they fought really, really hard, tooth and nail. Everything that they've got inside of any fiber of their being, they took it out and they put it on the table on that previous map. 3 overtimes, 4 overtimes, whatever it is. Do they have enough stamina for this final one?
Actually, that is the point that I would like to highlight. Both of our teams at this point, they were drained out from that game number 2. I mean, you have to consider that in this point in time. So mental fortitude will also be tested here. So we do have that saying that even though this is your comfort, or like the comfort zone, at least for the side of Renatus White in towards this map pick, things can still happen the least you expect it. So with these expectations quite uprising for the side of Renatus White, this is also a chance for Nigma Galaxy to have something to say about it at the same time, because in towards their split picks, it is quite 50%, so they were able to win their games too. So if, you know, other side of the spectrum, they are able to pop off, maybe that could be the play. The only thing that I worry here is that at least a pattern for the previous games that we have on this last match is that NGX, in terms of attacking, they're very dominating. Like no questions to that. But the moment that it kind of like switches, there's this kind of tone down. So if ever they are to retweak that kind of that kind of tone down into trying to spike it up in terms of maybe, as what Jaeger said earlier, utilizing the flanking capabilities per se, because that's what made that change the game from the previous match, right? So everything that we've been mentioning here, Quack, is all on paper, because it's still gonna go down to how our teams are gonna execute it. And with that being said, we're gonna head on to the last game of our third match of tonight between NGX and RTS.
That's absolutely right. And again, just to reiterate, whoever wins this gets to move forward into towards the lower bracket final. The loser, unfortunately, gets knocked out of the tournament. So all the marbles on the table, they got to give it everything that they have. Right now, it's going to be RTS starting out on the defense. You got Legit Queen on the Sage, already eating a dink, which... thankfully, because she is a Sage, she gets to heal back up. But still, the wall is the main obstacle. NGX maybe rotate in towards ropes. They could do that, but then they are going to face off against Envious, who is watching from around the back of screens. It still could be deadly if they can overwhelm her. Alka is kind of already sneaking up the side, calling out that all these different spots are clear. So what NGX are trying to do right now is to overwhelm these 2 players. Leave one towards mid, or maybe towards spawn, just to cut them off on the rotates.
And we're going to see her start off. Okay, Aphrodite, who is going to take down one eye for the trade. Envious as well for her own to be healed by her teammate, which is the Legit Queen. So here we are right now. We do see some post-plan positions for the side of NGX, to say the least. No casualties just yet, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
am I seeing it right?
Nah,
Am I seeing it right?
it's lagging.
Okay. All right. It's a bit laggy on my end, but you know what? Chloe was able to get a collateral in the process. If I'm mistaken, it's a 2 versus 2.
Yes.
Here, they still don't know that Trix is down and below.
What?
That's a collateral for Trix as well. They lined up, they fell down towards site. And what an interesting first round. Pistol goes to NGX.
I don't know if interesting is the word I would use to describe that.
I would.
They knew where she was, Saya. They knew.
I know. That's why it's interesting.
It's a series of unfortunate events. I think that's what I would say. They had the paranoia. They dropped down together. Somehow weren't able to get the shots on towards Trix, and actually even lined up for her. And this is where I think, you know, maybe it's that fatigue starting to set in. RTS, I don't know what it is, but they need to find a way to string themselves back together. Right now, it's going to be the Trix aggression. You're up against a Sentinel, and she's still able to out-duel them. Off towards the 50-50 close-range duel against Envious. They lose one player, but they're still relatively healthy. 4 players with the Spectres. They're going into the bonus round with quite a bit of firepower.
And actually, I don't think that was a bit, that was a lot, because look at this replay right here, juggling and the peaks and Trix, knowing that she has better weaponry, took down Mochi, and you know, it just escalated from there. So, like we did mention about food preferences, and into that round number 1, I think the barbecue was the play.
Oh.
You know, they got collateral, both Chloe and Trix got their own. And anyway, going back into where their game here, we do see quite the pace, or quite the momentum for the side of NGX. I mean, we did mention this earlier before we started the game, right? That in terms of attackers, NGX really has that aggression, you know? And I like it, however, that Legit Queen uses this wall to deny entry from B. So they're like forcing the issue that maybe NGX could go to A, but they're not having that. Because if you see, it's either 1, they wait for that wall to be destroyed. Number 2, they go to garage. So it's either one of the 2 things, and they're kind of eyeing this out again.
I don't know if eyeing it out is going to help them out all that much, though, because that one big purple eye is definitely going to blind Mochi, but you still got Kohibi towards the back, and she's good for 1 frag. Mochi, unfortunately, will fall, and then Kohibi. This could be really, really devastating. NGX, it's Legit Queen pushing up front. Unfortunately, Alka behind her will take her down. The knife in the back is just so deadly. Envious and Aphrodite now trying to push up together as a team, but what they don't know is that there is a player towards the back of the side, and that is Aya. They need to take her down, but because they didn't, it's going to be Chloe as well as Aya to clean and sweep this up 3-0. The bonus round to boot. NGX, really, really formidable foes on the attacking side, like you guys said.
And that was a good crossfire for both Aya and Chloe in the process. Aya, because she took down 1, that kind of made Envious look the other direction away from Chloe, and Chloe just went for the cleanup. So beautifully done, and they were in sync during that time. So 3-0 for the side of NGX right here. In terms of willpower, they do have it right now. So loving it how Trix is denying this potential push that could have come from Mochi. Because sometimes they do that, right? Even with pistols, they still push it through and hope for the best. But with Trix using that swarm grenade, beautiful deny. But let's see if this smoke is gonna come into light. Legit Queen takes 1 kill. Eye for the Trey, Aphrodite with a kill of her own. Oh, Aphrodite still gets Ivory down despite the good difference.
Free Vandal. Oh, down to 1 HP. Has to run away. Still though, I mean, Alka is down to HP. A single whisper and she's gone. So gotta be very, very cautious about how she approaches this one. Picks up the spike. Is she actually gonna push the mailroom? No, no, please don't. No. Oh!
Oh my!
Pre-aimed counter strike. She took down
Checking the corner, but still a beautiful Yahoo thrifty round for the side of RTS. 3-1, preventing any more streaks of King Hampit. So this is gonna be a beautiful replay. That's 1 shot, 1 kill, and as well, this is the fight where that kind of was interesting, because I think Ivory kind of whiffed it off by a centimeter, and that's the reason why she was not able to take Aphrodite in towards that vent.
You don't expect a second.
So right now, I think they're still gonna eye out for B, but this time they're gonna be, you know, dispersed around the map, maybe trying to play for peaks for the side of NGX.
Oh my god. Envious whiffed. She dashed into the corner. Trying to run away. Because of the heal, she managed to get away with her life and the operator, so not too bad. But now that they know that there is such a weapon in this round, NGX, they might just look for a different solution. Maybe B, because you can bet that the operator would be, if not A, probably mid.
Could be. Possibly. And here, I like it how they're just looking at the corners this time around, being cautious whenever they try to entry. So they're slowly making it, but they have to know if they have to really look above this angle because look, they are pre-aimed. Uses the smoke. Lear will be used as well as the Empress. They know that Mochi's in towards backside. And Heaven too, because of that slow orb. Ooh, that was timing that she actually fell off the wall. Or else that could have been one for her, but that is actually a nice blind, but it did not reciprocate with anything except for Legit Queen taking Ivory down. Envious with that op kill, beautifully done.
Wait, really?
Defender Killjoy, we're gonna do it. Where's oh no, sprays around the board, but they haven't done it yet. But the defuse still happens.
What is this game right now? They had the lockdown. They kind of, I don't know, throughout the paranoia doesn't really do all that much because the main thing was the fact that you got NGX off of site in towards garage. But then they just pushed up front to stick the defuse. They weren't really taking any duels. They didn't have to, I guess. Sticking it all the way, they managed to take the round win. And of course, just in time, the rest of the squad actually managed to come in to help out with the engagement. So 3-2, RTS still have some fight left in them.
Quote unquote pros don't fake in towards that moment back there. So right here, really nice wall from Legit Queen. You know what? I'm actually going to try to use this. I'm going to credit her for this. And going back in towards the game, you notice how they're having quite the time to actually take B Heaven. And yeah, sure, they do have mid controller or whatnot, but still, with that wall, it's very tedious to work with here. But loving how Aphrodite has her instincts on. She heard the ropes. That's intel already coming in. So let's see if it's going to go into good use. Oh, but no, there's no collateral that's gonna happen as Chloe takes him down. Could this be an opportunity for Galaxy?
I don't know, but those are some nice rhymes. It's gonna be the showstopper though to put a bumper to whatever.
So Ivy bringing in the party, taking down Ivory. Chloe with that operator. Let's see if actually Envy is gonna spot out Chloe in the process, but Alaka is gonna go for the plant here. So she does know where the corners are at. Blade Storm gonna miss, but Legit Queen not gonna miss a thing. She's gonna take down Chloe. Legit Queen for the 2K. Alaka for the trade. Res may come up. Full time position though is still viable. You can go. Well, big this, but with an inch of health, Aya takes Envious down. And Legit Queen may go for that res, but is it potential big object? Oh, not gonna be traded out as they secure post plant. 4-2 now on side of Galaxy.
That was an incredible push. Unfortunately, I mean, even with the showstopper, even with the res, they weren't able to capitalize on the win, and that just means that it's an incredibly costly round for them. The angles that they were holding post-plant, you know, if you don't send someone to clear out ramp, that just means that there's only one angle that NGX has to worry about, which is Heaven. So really easy for them to dispatch that little bit of aggression. Right now, RTS, their retakes game aren't the strongest. They really need to find a different way to play that.
Indeed, and liking this smoke from Mochi simply because they just want to delay the push right now so that any spray capabilities can also come and play. They're not destroying the wall that's been made here towards Vent, so at least they have an idea that they went towards Heaven. So this is the only time where Legit Queen did not wall this. Maybe trying to invite them per se, but Kohaidi gets one and also Envious, but there is a trade, so it's 3-4. They have the numbers advantage. For the side of RTS goes in. This is intel right now that they are gonna go towards A. It's free. It's a free take.
Free take is pretty good, but you're gonna have Alka to attempt at cutting them off on the rotate. Unfortunately, she just, I guess, kind of walked right in towards Legit Queen's crosshair. So, without the numbers, Legit Queen just goes on a rampage, finds two, but then Chloe gets another as well. She has the res as well, so could maybe actually res her teammate. She's going in for it. Heals herself first, though, so she's a little bit safer. 2v2 now, and this is not impossible, but the spike defuse is already underway. She's got it halfway. Mochi! She just got off of the right.
Barbecues on the floor right now. Wait, this is like the third time already that we've seen collateral for both sides of the team. So two for NGX and one collateral for RTS. Wow, I think it's not just the kills that we're gonna count here, Quack.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, we gotta count all of these different collaterals as well as clutches. Anything that they've possibly got, they're throwing it at NGX right now. It just kind of happened. I mean, the planets did align, and Mochi X will just strike.
Indeed, and the timing was really it worked for her, to say the least, because you know Luca and Chloe lined up for her during that time, so they will be trying another mid control fake. Oh, but the Blade Storm kind of telegraphed that they were there, but Ivory takes Aphrodite down. Envious one eye for the trade. The Blade Storm's gonna miss, but legit Queen take down Trix. Kohaibi taking down the Jet. And wow, that was just fast paced. So they're forced now to go and get the spike. And I think legit Queen knows this. So it's going to let Mochi and others take on crossfire positions.
That's what they're trying to do. I mean, smoking off sewers at that is just going to help out tremendously. Whoa. Okay. Gravity well kind of...
Quite sneaky. Alright, quite sneaky. So it's safe to assume that they still think that the spike is a mid. And they just ran for ace.
Oh my god. How are they doing this? They've actually managed to use their utility to kind of pull out fakes and then let them think that the spike hasn't been retrieved, but now that they see it, and now that they see that the spike has been planted on A, the retakes are going to start coming in. Of course, just using the From the Shadows just to get additional positional information, that's going to help them out so much.
Crossfire positions here. This is quite risky. Mochi knows that both of them are in a site, so quite interesting how they're going to play this out. Uses the blind. They're still not reacting to it, but Aluka goes for the trade. Let's see if it goes to light. They know that she's at 8 back. Will she isolate the fights though? That's one. Oh, but still, Ivy with the wait.
What? She got off of it at the right possible second. Even with Mochi falling, Kohaibi was there to redeem the fallen teammate. It's just incredible stuff that we're seeing from RTS that NGX, I think they gotta think twice about how they want to play these, because they gotta respect the RTS curls. In these retakes now, when they have the numbers advantage, it actually works out so well.
The good thing about this map is that it's not just about utility management, but this is where the individual performances can come to light. Considering that this is like a compact map, like sometimes with these kinds of clutches, it really works well. Especially if you only have little angles to worry about. And like going back to the point from previously on the panel, like we do see Kohaibi and Envious, you know, making wonderful performances on their whenever they're having that solo play. But oh, Aya takes Kohaibi down, but Kohaibi, like a Power Ranger moment from the vines, getting that paint shell kill. What amazing feat.
It was a little bit of a trade though, so still pretty good. And now off of that, they can confirm that there are players positioned towards mailroom and by an extension, heaven of B. So if they want to break down B side, they need to lock this one out. But Mochi is putting a stop to whatever they're trying to pull because of her judge. It's Judgment Day. 2 players remaining. Even if you get the spike down, how are you going to deal with the retakes?
Can be a possible flank, but you know what? They're just gonna go for full retake here. They're just gonna wait for the Celestial Wall to be down. Backside, though, we're not able to double speak it, and Envious just takes the 2K for the cleanup.
That is clean. Again, RTS, retakes, maybe not the best, but when they have numbers advantage, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're gonna go in hard. And that is positional plays like Envious just pushing in from the other side. Even with Mochi's judge kills, that is truly the impactful ones that kind of netted them this win. If not for Mochi, you know, they wouldn't have the numbers advantage. So let's see what happens next. NGX kind of struggling to secure the wins post-plant now.
Indeed, they're quite. In terms of you know, these kinds of scenarios, it should be that you're just going to position yourself in a favorable manner. But right now, it seems to be like RTS is slowly finding the key to actually dominate these rounds that they have. So they look at how they just quickly rotated towards sewers to A because of all the utilities being thrown at them towards mid. So they need to also avoid being collateral as much as possible if they want to win the numbers game too.
And that kind of comes down to, I guess, how you double peek, how you approach these duels. But then again, NGX, because they are on the attack, they kind of have to be the ones to be proactive, to give up information traded back and forth. Unfortunately, dashing in towards a position like that, it's something that doesn't really work out too well for you. Of course, the wall kind of blocks it a little bit, but her teammate's there to take off the panel and allows for Kohibi to push up extra aggressively, takes out yet another player. K4Didi finding one as well. Trix is the only one left. She's coming in from spawn though. Oh, Mochi saw it. Wow.
Great prediction plays coming in from our team. So that's the dash in as well as the Leer, and we're still able to get Aya. And although Kohibi had a little bit of a rough entry towards screens, still she managed to get the work done. And Mochi for the cleanup. This is looking pretty good for RTS now.
Really, really good. I mean, somehow they actually just managed to figure out how to play these post-plant retakes once they have the numbers. At the same time, it's also the way that they're actually delaying the pushes now. It was a little bit different at the start, but they've actually managed to figure things out. And now that NGX are on an eco, you can bet this is going to be a little bit easier. Then again, you want to be extra careful because it is NGX after all. Whatever it is though, NGX is going to get a little bit aggressive, pushes up front, collects one kill, and immediately repositions around the smokes and in towards mail room. They're trying to set up yet another crossfire or maybe look for a couple more hits like what NVS is doing right now. Maybe even the third, but Chloe shuts that down.
Liking how Chloe is just pre-aimed here towards Vince. She knows because basically she also places herself in that position, so she knows maybe someone's going to meet the Vince sooner or later. But it's about timing, who gets to peek first. But let's see if K4Didi is about to get that, but no one just to see Chloe. But Chloe was able to go and back away, and the res is gonna happen, and it's still a 5-man stack for RTS.
Yeah, for you. Pretty good. All 5, all alive. Here. It's just a matter of time. Oh, they go in for the burst. Oh, but okay, Trix! Now she wakes up the Sheriff with the double flicks. She's getting 2 kills. Picks up the Phantom.
2 kills, but with the low, still one. But she tried to jiggle, but Ivory is not gonna get that kill as Mochi secures it for the team. Mochi, we are starting to see her really popping off for her team right now as Envious takes that jiggle peek. Will be taken down by Chloe for the trade, but this is took a while. But the trouble, the trade, and from Trix and company is gonna happen through beautiful Sheriff kills. But still, this is the part where she jiggles, tries to take the kill, but whips it, and Mochi just secures it.
Yeah, they weren't expecting Mochi to be right underneath, and now that they're off a little bit of the back foot, 4-7. RTS are the ones in the lead, not NGX. They need to call in a timeout. This is the last round of the first half. Of course, if they lose this 4-8, it's not too bad, but a 7-5 is so much better. So they're going to try and pull in everything that they've got. Some of their players are pretty close to ultimates, but on the other side, Envious has her Blade Storm available. K4Didi has her Lockdown available. Mochi X from the Shadows. It's all things that could help them so much in terms of retakes, in terms of maybe a bit of fragging potential, the Blade Storm. Trix is the only one on her team that has the Lockdown available. So honestly, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to find a way to break open a site unless they are able to somehow find opening picks if RTS kind of puts themselves outside of position. So far, the middle pushes for NGX hasn't worked out too nicely, and that's largely because they haven't found a way to deal with mailroom as well as vents. So they really need to find a different manner of approach. This time, because nobody's watching ropes, they could actually come up with a potential A split push.
But that's gonna be a miss for the side of Envious here, uses the Blade Storm as well. But this could be an opportunity for the members of NGX to really follow through, because they were able to injure down Envious, but Kuberite is gonna take an off-angle kill Ivory for the trade, denying that operator. And right now they are going to plant the spike. Post-plant situations again are at play. So it's the best case scenario for them to deny any choke, but Trix is gonna take legit Queen down. And here they are already in towards a lobby, but that's gonna be a lockdown from the Killjoy for both of the Killjoy. You know what? Why settle for less? Let's go for double. And you know, Mochi takes down one as well as Aphrodite. Chloe for the trade, denying. Is it gonna be detained though? Okay, no players are gonna be detained. That's gonna be a satchel in. Not gonna find anyone in here. Okay, for Aphrodite for the 3K. So she falls down. That's gonna be one, but the he's gonna. And of course Chloe for the beautiful Natalie clutch. So ended with the 7-5.
Down to the very final, very thin wire. Chloe was actually able to save the day for NGX. That must have been like a millisecond. If she was just one little foot slower, I think Kohabi could have stuck the defuse all the way, but oh my god, thankfully she seized the initiative to push up front. Could have gone the other way, could have. But here we are, 5-7 at the end of the first half.
I feel like the call-outs from the members of NGX are like, Chloe, push it, let's do it, you got this, it's already half, like that, you know? But the thing is, it worked out for the team, gotta commend them for that. And let's see how things go, as they are going to be the aggressive side for this for RTS and defending for our NGX, as we did see that in terms of defense they were not really in the best of shape, but you know, things can happen, and we're starting to see them actually utilizing the flank.
Yeah, kind of. You got two players pushing outside of A. In fact,
this is interesting.
Going towards the back. So they can actually confirm that the push is coming either towards B or mid. And that is why you've got players just kind of watching out for that right now. Ivory, already firing black shots, is actually able to take Aphrodite down. But still, the mailroom push is one that is very strong because of the close range duels. Ivory just going for the right click, already has a triple, but unfortunately falls to Kohabi.
We still don't know.
Picked up the spike.
We still don't know. Both of them were in flank. Okay. Well, at least one. They don't know that it was two in flank. So let's even worse.
They're trying to rotate.
What? Tricks.
Oh my god.
30 seconds left.
Look at this being
it's gonna be a
all
hunt,
around
though.
the map. This is a ring around the board. Rosie, but denies. Rosie, the process is gonna be a peak. But no!
Wow.
The game was able to deny any further plant. They were playing hide and seek here. And, you know, it worked well. But, you know, you have to commend Ivory on this round, taking that 3K. Beautiful right-click flick. That was just amazing. Although Trix was not able to stop Kohabi in the process, but look at this. From the behind, Aluka takes one. She now becomes the shield, and Aya goes for the cleanup. 6-7. NGX slowly. One more point before Echo.
One more. Just one. But still, winning this one kind of gives NGX a big bonus in towards the second half, because they've got the weaponry and they should be able to stop whatever RTS has got and push this into a 7-7. They have to be careful though, so maybe not too overly aggressive. They're just trying to defend any possible pushes from RTS, and that is towards ropes right now. But, okay, Kohabi just instantly pre-aimed it, already just goes up and takes him down. Legit Queen has the wall to spend and try to cut off potential rotates as well, but main thing is they need to get the spike planted.
Oh, beautiful angle isolation by Ivory here, Chloe as well to help the friend who's been stuck in towards a back, and That's just beautiful for side of NGX. So this is where I will definitely commend Go Ivy because she has no fear. She has no hesitations in entering. Was able to get a frenzy kill, but still, you gotta deny. You can't deny here, Quack, that Ivory is popping up for the team. She is
Absolutely.
getting these consecutive kills for most of the rounds, and take note, she's the Astra. But of course, it doesn't mean that the other teams aren't doing their part. It's just that when the timing, it works well for Ivory.
She's kind of become that anchor for NGX, and at the same time, they're like playing a little bit of Squid Game, red light, green light. Anytime that Ivory is literally looking at them, RTS tries to push up front. But then when they're too close, and Ivory turns around at the right time, the timing is pristine. She goes in and she takes out so many players from RTS. Let's see if she can do the same thing again.
Let's see, they're gonna break the wall, trying to really breach this area. Hey, I get it. And right now, Kfredite here was able to take down Ivory,
Oh, no.
who we just aforementioned earlier was popping off. So they are gonna start a slower push towards
This is
Suez and Lobby.
Yeah, this is actually really bad for NGX. Losing Ivory this early on. Yes, I know it's a Spectre. She should be playing close range, but as an Astra, you dying means that you don't get to stall. You don't get to use your stars anymore. And her team are going to be a little bit stuck.
Aya?
Aya is only good for one, and then the push comes in. They're collapsing onto the side fully. Shrike's just the last one left alive, and of course they expect her to be pushing up from spawn. Envious already predicts this, so it's an easy frag to put RTS back on top of the board.
By one, to say the least, but I was able to get one for Mochi, and I think Envious already knows what one is in the corner, because again, we've seen this time and time again that NGX really utilize these corners around, and as you have said, them knowing that Trix is in towards spawn, it's bound for them to just pre-aim at that area. So 7 to 8 for the side of NGX. Maybe they can go for an aggressive play here despite being defenders. I don't know, but guns blazing. Let's see if it if it works, then why not? But I think the reason why they can't really go for that full aggression is because of the heavy presence that RTS is implying in towards mid. So they are gonna go. Oh, that was close.
Okay.
That was close for Aya.
Okay, but the one thing that NGX can play with, though, is the fact that you've got Alka clearing out Garage. And that means that they know the hit is towards A or at the very least mid, because they saw all of that. So right now, pushing up front, Aya should expect this. If she times this right, she could actually take out so many players. Going in for this first one now. Sprays down the second, and then the third! The spike being dropped as well! Aya has done her job. She's even going in for the final one. Actually connects onto Envious's head, her counterpart. And along with that, the secret lab flawless. NGX just timing that perfectly.
Indeed, and you just mentioned it. She was able to time it, and no matter where she entered the smoke or the cloud burst from Envious, she just used it to her advantage. You know, the fact that she wasn't spotted by Kohai being towards vents. You gotta say props to that. And here, I think it's going to give a bit of a morale boost for the side of NGX, to say the least, because they are tied up right now.
Tied up 8-8. Could go south, could go north. Whoever wins this one is to push themselves up front. But then again, it's the fun fact that NGX, despite being on defense, they get to be a little bit aggressive. Some warning shots, just getting a little bit of that early garage control. And right now, Chloe out towards mailroom as well. Yes, Aya might be trying to play around mid, but she's just going to collect on extra kills right now. Hit shots back to back. Couple gone already from RTS.
Was also with the help of the pull that came in from Ivory as well. That Aya, Aluka and Chloe were able to get those skills. Oh, Aya and Aluka rather were able to get those skills in the process. So the spike, they kind of left it and spawn. Oh, okay, so for the side of RTS. So I think they're going to play for peaks, but they only have 30 seconds to work with.
Yeah, maybe that's not enough. Legit
I'm
queen on
watching here.
nothing but
30
a sheriff
seconds
as
left.
well. They know that these are the potential spots where RTS could approach from. Now with a little bit of a peek, they spot legit queen out. They can confirm basically that this is going to be a B hit from Garage. Kawaii even committing onto this in full with a showstopper, but unfortunately just gets swatted down. And then the final one comes in, getting hit in the skull. Secret left flawless again for NGX. They're recovering. They're recovering.
Twice the flawless in a row for the side of NGX. They are not giving up. You can see the hunger that they really want to strive and, you know, come out on top on this fight. But not saying that RTS has the same thing. It's just that you know that moment wherein you got an off switch and then suddenly it turns on whenever you have that rush of a moment or that adrenaline.
Yeah.
I think NGX has that right now. And what better way to actually tone it down or RTS call is out a timeout.
Not sure if this is the best round to do it though. I mean, it's good because they can do it right now. They're on an eco. They're pre-planning. They're planning for the future. So it actually might be good. At the very least, it kind of stifles NGX's momentum for a bit. And then off of this round, they can kind of get a sense of how NGX plays on the defense, what kind of positions they go for. The next round, when they have to full buy, they're going to hit them hard with full force. Let's see how it actually plays out, though, because in this eco, yeah, it's an eco kind of, you know, not the best chances of winning, but it's not a throwaway. Every round counts. You can still do something with this, and that's what I'm thinking about. What are they actually trying to pull off in this round? Are they trying to just rush in, get the spike down, or are they trying to kind of read what NGX is trying to pull off?
Based on how they're positioned, I think they might go for slow pushes here, having that smoke in towards vents and hope for the best that they get their headshots. But sewers, spikes in sewers, and this could be a bit tricky if Mochi is to be taken down because look at the distance that the other members have. Ivory, though, will be starting it off, taking Envious down, who's been tedious to work to face off with, at least for the certain amount of rounds. And NGX, knowing that they have the gun advantage, they're just passive here. They're waiting for the peaks.
Incredibly passive, defensive, anything that they've got. They know that this is their round to win. So no need to get unnecessarily aggressive. Just hide. Wait for RTS to push up front, and that's exactly what they are doing. They've already kind of pushed away the initial aggression towards B, so now they can kind of expect, all right, they're probably going to hit A next. Let's have Alaka push up front now. At the same time, you got Ivory watching the crossing from screen, so she's jiggle, jump peeking.
Left.
Now she sees them, calls it out, and then Alaka goes in for the peek, takes the back line, and then IS got the front.
Flawless.
It's another flawless. This is 3 secret lab flawlesses in a row. In a row.
Yeah. In a row for the side of NGX. So again, Trix is gonna start to open it, and I love the patience of Aluka here because that's information. Okay, guys, we are seeing that 3 people from RTS are going in towards A, and that's just an opportunity for them. 10-8 scoreline. We've seen this scoreline time and time again. Like, let's just be a bit recent. Icebox. Right?
Yep.
Icebox, we did see NGX having the upper hand in terms of score line, but RTS, I'm pretty sure they have something to say about it. But right now, looking at the beautiful lockdown coming in for a possible entry, that's one, and Aya is in the position to go out of bounds in towards that lockdown here. Other members, though, NVS was able to get a trade of her own, but K490 was able to plant the spike full retake mode for the side of NGX. Let's see how this is gonna go.
They can actually do quite a bit. Ivory has a cosmic divide as well, but you know, they're just going in for the standard trades in towards ramps now. Meanwhile, the rest comes in from screens, and that makes it a 2-pronged approach. RTS has to split their attention both ways, which could kind of trouble them. Right now, it's certainly doing the job. K490 is going to be the first to fall, and Mochi X, this was legit queen, are the final ones remaining. Actually, no, just legit queen. 1v1. She's thinking twice. Doesn't see her initially. And then that just means that, oh, she's going to stick it all the way. Ivory actually was able to get the defuse just a hair before Legit Queen took her out.
A bit of hesitation is coming in there, but that is actually good peak for Aya before she actually went back from vents. Envious for those trades. We've seen it time and time again. These trades are really phenomenal for both sides, but this is where the limelight is. Both of the teams from RTS was able to get it, but that split of a decision to just stick it, pro zone fake. This is the second time around, and either of the teams had it, one with Kohibi and this one another for Ivory. So that was 0.7, right? 0.7 seconds. That alone is amazing.
It really is these micro decisions coming down to the very millisecond. Even just deciding to push in that one moment like that, suddenly it gives NGX the numbers advantage, and not to mention Tricks holding on to our operator right now. Even if they lose this round, it's not the worst thing in the world, because look at their ultimates. They've got basically every single one online. RTS, I don't know what they can do, but they need it. And they have to be extra careful, extra cautious about approaching this one.
Alright, not gonna be a collateral here. No barbecues, but Kohibi is able to get a 2K from the site. So that alone is heavily great in terms of numbers game. So look at this, Kohibi waiting for the right moment to strike, trying to save her friend so that she avoids from getting peeked. Looks on the below. Ivory got her senses right, was able to go in an even ground up until Legit Queen, trades her for it, try to avenge the fallen comrade. Tricks, I think, would just save the gun? No, actually, she's gonna push for it, I think. Will she push for it, though?
Yes,
she will! Oh, no. Alright, never mind. Never mind. Like, these... Like, you were about to say something amazing, but then the anticlimactic thing happens. But you know what? It works for Legit Queen because it just proves how fast she is in towards her reflexes. Because like the moment I was about to say something, she just basically, you know what? No, just shut it down.
She redeemed herself. The previous round, definitely. She kind of let it slip. They got the defuse. This time, she saved the day for RTS. Let's see if she can do it again. I mean, her wall was really, really good because walling off spawn just meant that high chance Trix is going to approach it from heaven, and that's why she was looking at that one spot. At the same time, Kohibi was watching down the spawn as well, so it worked out beautifully. This time around, they're trying to go all in towards the A site. Still a bit risky, though, because any mistake, and that means NGX is going to be at match point, and this might just be it.
Alright, time to take back the members of NGX here, but still they were able to take Envious down. So does Legit Queen has res? I don't think so yet, to say the least. But she does, right? So oh no, I think she doesn't. She doesn't. So wait, okay. There you go. That's the res that we're looking for. I'm sorry about that. I've got a little bit of a pizza moment in there. So going here, Aya was able to go and take one down. Kohibi knows, but Aya just denies, and that's gonna be 2K for her. Aphrodite in the process was able to take one on screens. Ivory denies the plant. 3 versus 2. Tricks and Ivory gets a kill of her own, and that's a beautiful cleanup match point now for NGX.
Quite frankly, I think RTS are starting to look a little bit desperate. They just went in for the full 5-finger death punch into the A site, but instead they were the ones that got death punched because NGX already saw that coming. You got Alika watching ramps with an operator, and then you got Ivory just hiding on site the entire time as well. Once that spike plant got denied, there was no chance for RTS to come back. And now that they've got match point, and not to mention, hey, they still haven't used a single one of their ultimates. All 5 are at the ready. No chance. I don't know how RTS can do this.
I've seen this moment before, waiting and saving these ults for one amazing play. Let's see, though, if they are able to use it. Because we do see RTS at this point, their take on B is quite telegraphed with the help of all these utilities from Ivory and Trick. Really goes into put show. Envious takes one off. Off, misses. Take the Sheriff. No, not going to be enough. I don't think that's the better play to, get an off kill. But Chloe takes one, make it another. Is it gonna be a third? They know that Chloe's boom low, but All right, there's gonna be the shutdown from K for Dyke, and they're just gonna march their way towards Vents. But Trix is gonna. Okay. Lockdown from Trix.
Oh, good.
But legit Queen. Oh.
It's all the tricks.
Yeah, it's all up to Trix.
Spike
But
planted.
let's see. Will she be able to see the minion? Well, you gotta watch your vents. Got to watch your vents. But they didn't meet their cross. That's gonna be one from below. Legit Queen's going to clean it up 10-12. We've seen this scenario time and time again. Quack.
She tried.
Wait, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, she tried to go down for that spray and pray air assassination down from heaven. Of course, this round was truly impact frags were gotten by Chloe just from the bottom of hell. But unfortunately, even with all that damage, the fact that RTS made the quick and instant decision to rotate over to A meant that they could kind of get the spike planted safely, and at the same time, basically just scavenging and saving as much as possible, using whatever they could have gotten left.
You should run.
And right now, because of that, they have earned a couple ultimates that they can play with to start things off the attacking lockdown in towards A.
Will it be utilized though, because they're taking quite some time to actually take a site, whom they didn't know it was quite free. Going in towards Screams Envious is no fear right now, but it's quite think will be healed by Legit Queen though. That's gonna be another showstopper. They're gonna hit someone.
What?
Oh, actually that didn't. Aya still survives, but no. Oh, he still takes down Aya. That was a perfect trade. 3 versus 3 now for both sides of the teams. How is this gonna pan out? Mochi, take, look at down. Mochi for the 3K. They're gonna be the 4 and the 3. Tricks Walker back here. Renatus and Queen denies the 4K, but still a limit as well. Do we get an overtime?
The one time NGX decides to use their ultimates, it did nothing. RTS, they've cracked the code. They got Kohai with a showstopper, and then Aya dashed. That was such an incredible enemy moment.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Aya's
You know
got that golden
trailer
win.
from Valorant earlier, where from before, where in Phoenix versus Jet,
Oh.
she dashed in toward that fire. That was that moment.
Oh yeah.
Only it was a Kohai the Aya moment, you know.
Yo, this could happen. You can see this going into overtime again. And Jinx doesn't have the best weaponry.
I mean, you know what? Regardless of the results, I'm happy for both sides of the team. This is one amazing game.
We love our
series.
This is
Yeah,
this is the
I love it.
best thing
I
ever.
am so honored to cast these. But you know, going back here, if you notice, there are some amount of utilities already dished out for both sides of the team, and it kind of limits their supply in terms of trying to control some sites. But loving how RTS just didn't, just made their presence known, but they're still not yet crawling up to any sites here. So it's a matter of timing at this point for both sides.
It's a bit of a set piece. The paranoia in towards mail room, and then the dash comes up front to seize the initiative on that momentum. Kohai will be able to collect on quick double. It comes down to whether or not Ivory as well as Alika can actually stop it, but no can do. Coming in from the top, it's gonna be Kohai. It's gonna be Legit Queen. They get the spike down, and once more, Trix is the lone survivor. What's she gonna do?
The make or break, and she has a Bulldog to utilize as well. Will be spotting out Legit Queen 401, uses the turrets basically as, a sixth man or a body block, to say the least. So I'm not sure if this is quite the play, but they're on crossfire, but go Ivy with the 4K. We are going overtime.
This is incredible. I love Valorant. This is just...
I love Valorant too.
They had the paranoia. They pushed in together. It was really, really coordinated. In the past, you would always just think, I mean, we were saying it on the desk and on the panel. Jace, Kohai, she's the entry fragger. Kohai, go kill. It's not just that. This time, it's really a team effort coming in from RTS, and they've earned this overtime. There was overtime on Icebox, it's overtime on Split. They could just steal this away from NGX again.
I needed a moment to breathe, as well as I feel like also you and everybody currently watching right now, because this is just intense Valorant, everyone. And right now we are gonna go back to the ring around the rosy moment for both sides of the teams, unless one actually locks it in. So he started off attackers here. He's gonna destroy this wall. They have to be very careful of vents, however, because Envious is there to guard them. And I think with all of these footsteps to be heard, it's just a matter of how Envious and the gang are to take them from flank.
Envious is just watching this angle, and she's staying hidden. If she could stay hidden long enough, yep, she will be able to take one player down by the skull. And then it comes down to Legit Queen as well as Kohibi. They know that the push is potentially coming in towards mailroom, so they're just setting up for this. She already has spent her paint shells though, Kohibi, so only thing left to do is maybe paint shells or just shoot them down. She's going to try to track and spray down the player, drop down to hell, and then Mochi X comes back in to support the team with a bit of assistance. It's going to be RTS now. They're in the lead.
Again, a similar scenario on Icebox, but the overtime will reach up until 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. So, 3 overtime. So this is a really nice call for a timeout for NGX. There you go. And they need to create a scenario wherein I'm just thinking this through at this point, considering the stamina depletion, the mental state of both sides of our teams. I just think they both of them have good weaponry.
Yep.
NGX is the defender side, if I'm not mistaken. So the scenario would be maybe they can utilize, going on offense despite being defensive. I mean, it's just me, but if they could find ways to catch RTS off guard, maybe that could be the breaking point. But at the same time, the amount of reflexes that Envious, Kohibi, and the others have, especially Mochi here, has been popping up real for this specific game. They need to one up. There you go. That's the word. They need to one up their tactics here.
Yeah, and I think if I were to get into Trix's shoes right now, just for a second, you would be thinking maybe the answer, yeah, we just gotta stop Kohibi as well as Envious. It seems that simple, but the thing is, you gotta approach it from a different angle now. RTS, with their approaches on the attacking side, it's no longer just Envious and Kohibi dashing in on their own. They're supported by their teammates. So you kind of need to respect that space a little bit, maybe allow them or put up some kind of resistance to bait them into using that utility first, and then their advances would be weakened. And that is why you got Alka as well as Aya pushing outside of Garage right now. Kfreddy's the one watching the back though, but unfortunately she drops. Mochi, she's still trying to be the flank guard. But unfortunately, with these positions up close, Alka could just dash up back and forth. I mean, with the counter strafes around the corners, it's very, very deadly. Still, though, in the midst of all of this, you actually have RTS players pushing in towards A, and that's Kohibi. Blast packs into sight now and calls it out clear. They just need Legit Queen to get the package signed, sealed, and delivered. Meanwhile, the remainder of the NGX squad goes in for the retake.
30 seconds left.
Let's see if it's gonna go and push into light. 4v4,
Spike
still
planted.
equal ground in terms of numbers, and NGX is in an interesting position here. They walled off screen, so that's denial. If they break it, that's telegraphed. At this point, it's just more on who gets the proper timing, and timing is on the hands of Aya, so they know someone is in heaven. They break the walls, they may go for double peaks, but Kohibi still takes one down. Ivory for the trade. Is this to be another one, but Showstopper? One-on-one fight.
What?
Not gonna kill it. Aya has been evading these Showstoppers, and that's a 3K for her own, but does she have time? Does she have time?
She should. No way.
Wait, she has, okay.
Thank God.
5.08 seconds! So what is this?
Aya, you narrowly avoided death. But thankfully, she keeps her team alive.
By a thread! quiet threat.
If Kohibi had just held on to that showstopper for, I don't know, maybe just one more second. Just one more. It could have been different.
Dude.
She thought she had the time.
Showstopper. And then if you know, oh, it was cut off by the replay, but you know what? We get the point right from their Quack, and I agree with you on that. So this is just getting all the chills.
Overtime 2. Let's see. NGX back on the attack, and they have still yet to crack the code. They kind of did it towards the start of the second half, but then somewhere towards the end they kind of fell apart. Right now, it's actually RTS playing it a little bit differently. They're giving up so much space, kind of just banking on the fact that, hey, Kay has her utility placed on A. She can probably handle this on her own. Maybe not. They're shooting out all these little different alarm bots and nano swarms. They could just overwhelm her. But if they don't watch their backs, if they don't, okay, Aya is going to be the one.
They watch their backs. They heard you. They heard you. So that is actually a good thing, to say the least, for the side of NGX, taking down Envious in the process. So a little bit of a slow peak for Aluka. Oh, actually, no, she's not going to continue with that. But it's quite interesting because they're crawling towards B. They know that the spike hasn't been planted yet, so let's see how this goes.
30 seconds left.
Oh, it's a bit of a 50-50
It's
angle,
risky.
though. Yeah. Alika can't really do that, but she's trying to sell a bit of that fake. But just because there's no noise at all, RTS still expect the push on B. The fake was not good. In fact, it's just Alika trying to turn this into a flank now. It's going to be 13 seconds remaining, and they need to get spiked down now. Chloe's going to bank in on this. All of a sudden, all that's left is legit Queen. She was able to find one, though.
Yes, but the 1v3 clutch, take note of the crossfires, though, for the side of NGX. She really had to really put on a hard isolation for this to work.
Trix's position is good. As soon as she drops, Trix is going to be the first one to try to push her down. Okay, they already know that she's there.
Oh,
Gravity well, and then Trix strikes from the back. 14-13, NGX will take the first round in OT2.
Match point.
Need a bit. Inhale, exhale with me, Brian. Inhale.
Inhale, exhale.
All right.
Okay.
This is, for both sides of our teams, this is really intense. I love Valorant, but this is a good call for timeout. I think it's RTS who called for timeout, but look at this. Aya denies Envious legit Queen for the trade, but look at the crosshair placements was just really on point. And yep, as I mentioned, it's an RTS timeout, so they want to tone down a bit. You know, like what we did earlier. Want to get that breathing right. Want to remove those nervousness that they have. So, what do you think is the play for NGX to secure this, and what do you think is the play for RTS to go for another overtime?
It again kind of boils down to how NGX has their pieces set up on the board, and then how RTS actually plays around that. I mean, previously, RTS was actually able to do it because of the aggression that we've got, the way that they were supporting each other, and at the same time, NGX being extra cautious, in fact. They have the players to kind of move around the board, a little bit of early aggression in towards garage. Things like that really help them out. You've got a pretty big map here on Split, and that means there are always these tiny cracks that NGX could exploit when it comes down to map control. At the same time, RTS could do the same thing, so how they're actually able to control the map is the question. Maybe a bit of a default, which is kind of what RTS are trying to pull off right now, just watching the angles. They know that there's a player. They kind of saw her at the top of her beanie, maybe? Alika just pings it out, and then with a bit of a movement, they bait the peek from K4Deity, take her down. Now that they have numbers advantage, NGX could take this.
This is also a difficult spot for RTS, since they don't have the kills right to have those utilities at bay. So they already know that there are people towards B.
Oh my gosh.
Notice how they're very slowly pushing this through, and because they have numbers advantage, they're just passive. Chloe here saw how Envy was sprayed inside smoke She's still staying up above rafters, and that is gonna be a trade from Kohybe. Uses the paint shells here. That's gonna be a spike plant. Is it gonna be pushed by Ivory though? Let's see.
Whatever it is, though.
Four?
Out of charges.
It's
Now
gonna
a
be
3 versus
Kohybe.
3.
The way that she's playing around this one pillar, no way NGX expects her to be here. And right now with the showstopper as well, they have no choice but to respect this. It's buying a little bit of time. And NGX need to find the duels. They can't quite get it yet. Alika going up front with the Empress. She's got the heals. She's looking for Kohybe. Pushing up around the collar. Oh my god, Kohybe! Crosshair placement on the dot. Takes her out immediately. 14 to 14. We're going into overtime 3.
Look at this replay. We are able to see that Chloe was able to secure one. Kohybe for the trade. The pre-aims of this woman, she is a mad lad. High respects to her. Alika, we did see Alika tries to, you know, take one down because she was healed for her Empress, but the pre-aim capabilities of Kohybe.
Intel ace.
She is a force to be reckoned
I
with.
didn't even realize that was an ace. Oh my god, I need a breather. But whatever it is, these girls aren't giving us that time. In towards overtime 3, and they're just continuing to go forward. It kind of is, I think, the fact that this is such an intense match. Alika was feeling that pressure, that heat, and she just kind of was going in for that forward momentum. Sometimes you need to tap the brakes a little bit, you know. But
Tap in the brakes.
Just doesn't seem like it.
But doesn't seem like it because we're not being given some breather here. But what a series, isn't it?
Gosh, dude.
Like, regardless of everything, that's going to be blinds for Mochi here. But they know that Mochi's in towards back. Psyche is the shrouded step. Are they going to commit towards B, though? I think not, because they're making their way towards mid. And Alika was able to get those orbs up and running just so that she can have Empress for the specific round.
This is not good for NGX. Mochi's play bought up so much time for RTS that NGX has to commit to this one push in towards the B site.
30 seconds.
And off of all these different pieces of utility and positional plays from RTS, it's a bit of a gamble. Unless they're actually able to win out in these duels, they go in for the pre-fire, but it wasn't meant to be. Mochi X was in a different spot than expected. And right now, Envious, already knowing that the spike has been dropped, it's an easy frag to collect on 15-14 RTS.
Match point.
They were just baiting it and switching out all these different positions. And NGX, oh no.
Okay, that was a bit of a confusion back there. I saw the Odin, right? I saw the Odin.
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah, like that's gonna be very interesting if you do that, but I'm pretty sure that they won't. All right, so 15-14 RTS with the match point, but you know, this is all that interesting. Loving that slow orb denying the aggression against NGX, but up to how long can this go? They now see legit queen in towards
again
the spawn.
Oh, this is big. And they hear all those gunfire in towards mid as well. Alika can actually do so much on this, but she goes in for the early shot. No trigger discipline, and that means her teammates fall. Teammate falls. It's gonna be tricks. Thankfully, she makes it a trade and overheals as well. So, not the worst thing in the world, but the fact is, RTS has a site.
Yes, definitely. So they are going to go plant against A. They really need to check their corners right now, at least for the sake of Ivory. But I think this could be a double pick. Oh, she did not go to screens. Interesting.
Still, though, the fact that they didn't go to screens, they have to suspect that there might be a player or two positioned around that spot. They have to be careful about this.
Enemy kill.
Oh no, but they didn't. They didn't suspect it. Only 2 versus 3 right now. Let's see. Oh, Ivory still gets one. Are they gonna defuse it? Oh no, there was no protection coming in. And she's gonna be double pick, ladies and gentlemen.
I just heard high screeching towards the end, but that is exactly how I feel. My voice can't really go that high, but that is the end of that story. RTS able to capitalize off those little gaps in NGX's defenses that they pushed up in towards A to get the spike down and then position themselves in the most unorthodox of positions. NGX wasn't expecting them to be pushing up from the back of A Heaven off of screens. They thought that they were on the site itself. You saw that they were pre-firing in towards the site, that little screen, that little cover. And unfortunately, that is when RTS struck from the back, from the side flanks. It's incredible.
And in overtime, we finally find a victory. How many overtimes have we seen? But the title of the Overtime Queens finally snatched away. And it's going to be Renatus White emerging victorious in the wake of it all. And finally, an upset. It took quite a while for it to happen. And what a way to do it. You're joining us on the panel here to break down what exactly just happened. Well, Strado, and alongside me, the amazing casters, Sayora and Quack. Now, let's go ahead and start to break things down. Quack, I'll start off with you. Man, it was just a trip, that whole entire series. Out, round after round, overtime after overtime. What the hell was going on in that one?
I mean, I think there is not all that much to say. We watch it in that highlights just before we came to the desk. All of these incredible plays by both sides. Both sides truly deserve to be where they are at, and they're just so incredibly strong. It just seemed like towards the end, on split especially, RTS actually came up with a little bit more coordination, and Kohibi with aces as well. Not to mention the fact that I think, it's been such a long day, such a long series. Someone somewhere probably had a little bit of mental fatigue, and I don't know, maybe a timeout or two could have saved someone from that, but it just came all this way, and we see it before our very eyes. The stats don't lie.
No.
Stats don't lie, yeah.
Go ahead.
Definitely. So looking at this first game, we do see NGX going in triumphant with Aluka with that 302 combat score, 2.1 KDA. So in summary into that, she was able to pop off for her team as well with the help of the utilities that came from Ivory and as well as Chloe.
Yeah, just again, it was one of those, I think, endurance matches that just went the distance here. And this means a lot, I think, for Renatus White. They've spent the entire year, I'd say, being, like the third best team and maybe the fourth, depending on how things are going for them on a certain day. Now they've managed to beat who we think was probably the second best team in this entire tournament. One of the ones that could have taken the game away, the tournament away from Alter Ego Celeste. And now they've found themselves here in the podium. Potentially no, they are in the podium. They're locked in. They have a podium finish. They're finishing pole position regardless, first to third place, and they have secured themselves a nice spot here. Quack at the very end of it all.
At least bronze, right? If not, if they can beat Mad Army tomorrow, then silver. They'll be able to go up, and if they take Alter Ego Celeste down, oh my god,
maybe gold.
I mean, we kind of did see, we have been thinking, all right, yeah, split, it's a little bit scary, a little bit shaky for RTS, but they did push Alter Ego Celeste to 13-11, and this is a team that, in all those FSL open overtime, FSL wildcard that we haven't seen them, they've been hard at work, it seems. And of course, with the pickup of Legit Queen as well, she's stepping up to the plate. I mean, maybe not at the top of the kill feed, but not at the bottom. I mean, she's actually able to do so much on split as a Sage. Her walls, her slows, everything was amazing. Not to mention, even people at the bottom like Mochi X, she had plays whereby her paranoia, her dark cover was able to push them off of B garage pushes. At the same time, NGX, they really gave this their all. We saw so many incredible rounds. They were the ones pretty much in the lead for most of the series. It was just that towards the end, something somewhere wasn't quite going right.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, we just saw from those three matches that they kind of toned down whenever they switched sides. So it kind of made it into a choking point, at least for the side of NGX, and RTS just using that to their advantage.
Absolutely. It came down to the wire here at the very end. You can see the final scores. Both matches, again, coming down to overtime. The final two, Nigma Galaxy just letting it slip from their grasp. They were so close to getting the series in the second game, but eventually it took two overtimes to do it. RTS, Renatus White, they clawed their way back into this series, and they proved that they are the dominant team, and very much deservedly so. Unfortunately, we'll get to have an opportunity to speak to one of the players themselves, and I'm so excited for them. We're going to hear again from the players of Renatus White from a very, very hard-fought victory. So I think she's just about ready. I think we'll bring her on right now. We've got none other than Keferdite joining us in this game, in this post-game interview. So, Keferdite, congratulations, a hard-fought series. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I guess our team is very emotional right now. Some of us are like shaking after the game, some are crying. I was about to cry with them, but we needed one to do the interview, so here I am. But we are really grateful that all our hard work really paid off, and it's a very long day for us.
Yeah,
Thankfully, we are able to pull through that.
Absolutely. I mean, we're right there with you. Definitely emotional, and it's a long day, very tiring to go through the two maps. Now, how did it feel to finally beat Nigma Galaxy after struggling to beat them, the whole year in this tournament, and finally now you have taken that victory, getting that lower bracket final?
Actually, obviously we feel very happy and stuff, but most importantly, we managed to make recurse today. We pushed through our boundaries. We do something that we never achieved before, and from here onwards, we'll only be better, and you guys will be able to expect more from us.
Yeah, exciting. Just the growth of your team. Let's talk a little bit about that. I think one last question before I let you go. Your team has grown so much in the past few months. I mean, you started off this year quite strong already, but it seems like you guys have just been getting better every single time. Why is that? How is that happening that you guys are looking this much more tactically clean? You guys are just looking so much better individually. What's going on here?
I think it's all the hard work and all the scrims every night. So basically, every one of us is very busy with our work and study schedule. But then we still make it an effort to scrim almost every night. And I think 2 weeks before this tournament, we scrim twice a day. So it's like 4 hours of scrim every single day till today. So thankfully, everything just worked out well for us.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Hard work paying off after all this time. None other than Renatus White. They take the victory here against Galaxy Racer. Congratulations again, Keferdite, or shall we call you Clutchferdite, the Clutch Queen here at FSL. She moves on ahead, and thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well, that has been it. You've heard from us on this interview. Finally, we have a big winner here, a big victor in this lower brackets. We still have one more to go. That's the lower bracket finals. But Renatus White go ahead, and they are going to advance. Emotions all around, Sayora, as we get into the dying embers of this tournament.
I mean, of course, who wouldn't really feel emotional? Imagine having 2 overtimes and you.
We were emotional.
Of course,
Yeah,
exactly, right? Even off stream. So these are types of the moments where that those hard work really pays off, and it's really empowering, to say the least, for both of our teams. And I did say this before the match ended, that regardless of the results, it's really an intense series for both sides of the team, and I think they deserve pats on the head for that.
No, absolutely. Pats all around. Pats to you guys on the caster desk as well, since you guys lasted that long. Really great stuff. Any final thoughts before we end the day, Quack?
I mean, it's hard fought. It's well deserved. As far as in my eyes, every single player that has showed up so far to FSL Elite are queens. I mean, NGX, TC Arise, VLT Asteria, every single player has been showing up, and they all have different ways, different highlights that show how strong they can be. So the only thing is to move forward, and I think that's to take a look at the brackets. I mean, a little bit of a recap, and also to kind of preview what we've got for tomorrow.
That's exactly what we're going to do as we go on over to the bracket itself and take a look at the journey that we took to get here. A lot of 2-0s, but a lot of 2-1s, a lot of them. My God, this lower bracket has just been 2-1s.
Oh, man.
I don't think Nigma Galaxy played a single 2-0 game except for that first one at the very start. But, now we're seeing it towards the very end of this tournament. Bottom half, It's a lower bracket final for the final day tomorrow. Renatus White versus Mad Army. And then whoever wins that one is going to be facing Alter Ego Celeste Sayora. Feelings on these games that we're getting tomorrow?
Really gonna be close for this lower bracket. Both of our teams really showed their stuff, but prediction's gonna be for tomorrow, and we'll just have to see because these fights are gonna be really, really close.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping we get to see more of this overtime action tomorrow. It's definitely been a wild ride, a lot of roller coaster turns all around here in this tournament. But yeah, it has been an amazing time, and for such a a large amount of money, $10,000 is on the line. You do want to be the difference between second and third place. You want to be able to eke that out and be able to get a higher placement. So yeah, it has been an amazing time. Sayora, your last thoughts before we end the stream and say goodbye to everybody.
Well, I just want to say that this is Game Changers, and you just gotta tune in for the intense action tomorrow.
Well, there you heard it from us. It has been an amazing time. But before we go, thank you as well to all our sponsors who made this happen. Intel, Yahoo, Secret Lab, and Nanoleaf. Just been, amazing sponsors here making this all possible. And by the way, we still have those giveaways. So if you haven't seen the Secret Lab giveaways that we have been showing, please tune in. And, we'll do a little bit more tomorrow as well if you've missed that here today. So for the final time here today, it's been us on the panel. Time to bid you adieu. Illustrado, Sayora, and Quack on behalf of everybody else here at FSL Elite. We're going to say good game and good night. We'll see you all tomorrow. It's FSL Game Changers. It is the last day tomorrow, so you better tune in.